afternoon, Manchester, New Hampshire, and all the surrounding areas, just to let you. Oh, look at all the cute ornaments here. And one would think that Mary likes toys. You like toys?
Yes, I do. I like Hot Wheels.
There you go. You feel like a kid at heart?
I do. And you know what? I do models. I love doing models. The ones that I like.
But I used to like to do the car models and the airplane.
Yeah.
But you can't buy the airplane glue anymore.
Only one spot that I know that has it, and if he thinks you're underage, they will card you now. And that's the one on South Willow Street down in that little mini mall.
Isn't it sad that you cannot just go and buy the model?
But you know, I'm glad they're doing it because it was kids inhaling it, you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The kids, you know, they inhale it and they do
this.
Yeah, you know,
and they spoil, you know, anybody.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Now, one thing I want to do for all the people that have had illness this week and last week, for all the sickness, whether it's the flu or whatever, and for people who have lost someone. Denise, her mother, they had a week ago crossed over. A lot of people have been crossing because of the energy in the air. And then we're going to send special prayers out to Beverly.
Yeah.
Oh, Heavenly Spirit.
And Dick.
And Dick. We ask that you send a blessing to all these people who have lost their loved ones and who have been with them to help them on their journey home. Let them know that they're going to a place where they will all meet at one time and have a very, very big reunion. We ask, oh Heavenly Spirit, just to guide them and help them. And let the family members know that they are no longer in pain. When Beverly, we ask for a very strong, progressive, positive energy force to make her get better, and that whatever test she has will come up in a positive way. For all you shut-ins and all these people, the people that are homeless, and the people who can't afford to have the heat in their apartment or who can't afford the meds, we ask, O Spirit of all divine, that you will bless them and keep them healthy and safe. In the name of the Spirit, amen.
Amen. And
you know, that's what, you know, have we had any deaths reported through this cold that you're aware of?
Not that I know of. And
didn't we last year or the year before?
Yeah, I did last year, yeah. And you know, look at this now. That hasn't moved since last year. That has not moved on its own.
Wow. And it's supposed to?
Yeah.
What was it, that Ruthie's?
I say it's Ruthie. Because Ruthie gave me both of them last year at this time.
See?
I say it's Ruthie.
She likes it. Ruthie, see? Your toys are at Star now. Now, did you make that?
No, I didn't. I bought it for $1.
Oh, not a family Dollar Tree?
Yeah.
I like the Dollar Tree.
Don't you? Oh, I enjoy going there when I have the money.
Yeah.
I wish I had enough money, at least about $50, maybe even $100, and just go wild.
Oh,
but I can't.
I go in there for one item. I'll end up spending $30.
How true. And when I don't like to go there, because when I do, I overspend when I go there, and then at the end, I don't have enough money for something else.
And then we complain, right? Yeah. Well, that's like when I go to Market Basket. You know, well, I'm only going to get this item and that item. Next thing you know. See, I buy those ends.
I do too. I did. I bought some roast beef.
Yeah.
And it was good.
Yeah. So the money for the ends that you get, and with my slicer, I can make a pound out of it.
If you get the one that's got the black, it's like pepper on it and different things on it, when they cut that up, because I used to get it when I worked for Granite State Pack, and it was called Black Diamond.
Right.
My God.
Yeah.
No, that's not ham. This is roast beef.
Oh, roast beef. Yeah, I get that quite often.
Yeah.
Well, next time I get some, I'll have to say some for you.
Yeah. Oh, I got some the other day, and I cut it up, and I had it with potatoes. Oh, my God.
See, the thing is, when you're doing cooking, folks, and it's amazing if you don't have a whole lot of food. It's amazing what you can cook.
You can.
Like those meats I buy a lot of them.
Yeah.
You know, and I put them in of course, Her Highness, both His Highness and Her Highness both, we have to cut them up special because Her Highness, we have to put in this medication on it. And I should give you the name of this for your cats, Mary.
And my kitties say, thank you, uncles.
Oh, you're welcome. Tomorrow I'll have to get some more ham for them. But, no, turkey, right? Honey turkey?
Yep, honey turkey. Come on.
And, My dog, I get tomorrow, she'll be 15.
Wow. See, my muffin girl, she's 15. She'll be 16 this year.
Yeah. My little one, she's turning 15 tomorrow. Tomorrow, right, Scott?
Yeah.
Yeah. And let me tell you, she scares me in the morning because she sleeps so sound. I go, oh, no. So, poor Scott, I make him wake him up.
I keep telling the people that, folks, when you love your dogs or your cats, whatever you have, they mean so much to you. And I do have to, I think it's great. I really enjoy in hearing this, and I think you will too. I do it once in a while, but Scott, you're a genius. You're great to your animal. He will wake these cats and dogs up from sleep and say, "You come and eat your supper or your breakfast."
Or
Now that's
And when
that's
because I'm afraid
special.
to wake my dog up, so I'll wake him up
Yeah,
and take
that's
him out.
special.
And then he has this, like at 6 o'clock in the morning, right, Scott? Picks up her breakfast and puts her medication.
No, that's
on.
special. That's
And then,
loving
of
your
course,
animal.
Yeah, and he brings my coffee in. That's very spoiled.
I know.
It's fun.
He's a special guy.
Yes, he is.
He really is. He's a
22
special
years
guy.
of putting up with me. I did a reading on a lady yesterday yesterday from Florida.
Oh, great.
Beautiful lady. No, this morning at 10 o'clock. Wasn't it, Scott? Yeah, this morning at 10 o'clock. The welfare in the United States sucks.
Yes, you're right.
Especially the child's welfare.
Yeah.
There are so many people who are, and they can throw me in jail, whatever, I don't care. But I have a friend of mine who's fought for years to try to get his children.
Yeah.
And the mother, who admittedly admitted that she was a drug addict, they still awarded her.
That's so wrong.
And in Kansas, there's a lady who has 5 children now, 5 different fathers. And she owns her own home now because of the children. The father of this child, or the grandchild, has been very, very faithfully supporting every week, been supporting and paying child support to the mother of the child, and he can only see that child at her discretion.
It's so wrong, isn't it?
And that's
When a father wants, when a father wants to be with their child, and they literally try to stop them.
And
That's
and
wrong.
the sad part is the reverse role too. It's,
Yeah.
a lot of times it's the women who are that way. And
Yeah.
It seems like the
It
worse
works
the
both
child,
ways.
either the mother is or the father
Yeah.
is, the more at. I can remember one lady said to me when I was talking about them, and we send the children back to the mothers so they can rehabilitate them. Money talks in New Hampshire.
Yes. Yeah, there's an old saying, but I can't swear, but I think people know what it means.
If you got the money, you can get whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah, money does really talk, and it sure does.
Oh yeah, I want to say my heart goes out to what was it, Nat Shepherd, the one that was beaten to death.
Yeah,
The
what a
gay-
shame.
Yeah, I think that was his name. Our condolences still to the family, and
Yeah.
his memory is still with us. Not too many people know that, but I actually got beat up down here in Manchester. And the guy got arrested. The police did a great job. We went to court. You know what came out of it? Nothing.
Yeah, a slap.
They told me that it was prejudice against the homeless people.
Oh, gee.
And I said, no, Your Honor, you're prejudiced against gay people. I ended up paying a $250 fine.
It's like I was telling you. This week I was there with my cousin. Picked up some stuff I needed, my kitty food and different things like that.
Oh, yeah, I like this story. Listen to this,
And
folks.
I'm going around and I save enough money just for my cats because I will get my cats food and what they need before I get mine. If there's anything left over, then I will get something for myself.
Yeah.
But if it's not, my cats, like you guys, the food will go for your animals.
Yeah.
So I had the scarf. I can't tell you, I've had it. Oh my God! I think I was working at Warmback with Addie at the time, and I think that was one of them that she
What is
gave
a
me.
Warmback?
Warmback is on Commercial Street. There's a big sign. You know where? What's his name? He has a helicopter.
Heyman? Dick, Dean.
Dean, yeah, the Dean.
Yeah.
Well, that part there, where he has his helicopter there, it's where it was like a little store. You could buy different parts, whatever they sold in cloth and everything, and everything. In fact, when we go by, I'll show you where it is.
Okay.
On Commercial
Oh, it's
Street.
a factory.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. It was. I was a weaver. I was the first one in my family outside my grandmother. Cause I felt my grandparents were weavers. He was a doffer, and I'm the first grandchild that followed the grandparents.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. I was a weaver. I became a weaver. I graduated. I was a doffer. I was a spinner. You name it, I was.
I didn't mean to interrupt when you said one, but...
Yeah,
no. Now we'll go back to your story.
So, anyways, I was there, like I said, getting my kitty food, and I figured I had enough, and I got my roast beef that, like Dawn was saying, a little bit of that to go with my potatoes and stuff. And I'm cashing out afterwards, and I put my stuff in the cart, and I realized that in my shopping cart, my scarf was gone. I mean, this scarf is old, but it's sentimental to me. I don't care. You don't steal from me.
Oh, no.
You don't do it, 'cause I'll come after you. So anyways, I'm looking around. I figure I'd go down the aisle where I was. Maybe I dropped it or something, And it wasn't there. So I said, well, I'll go where what they call a cafeteria area, where everybody sits. So there was I would say about 4 people plus 2 on the other side. There was about 6 of them sitting there. And I looked over, and there was my scarf. Because I had gone to the bathroom, and while I was at the bathroom, they had taken it out.
Pretty sad.
So I grabbed the person right here. I grabbed him, and they turned around. And I think I kind of scared them. And I meant that what I did when I grabbed. And I grabbed it out of their hand, and I said, remember this face. You touch any of my stuff again, I will lay you out in lavender. No one touches my stuff. They have no rights taking your stuff. I mean, if they wanted something, I would have gone and got something for $1 for them and would give them to them. I would have gone to the dollar store and bought something if they needed. But don't take nothing from me.
Or anybody else.
No,
see, that's why
it's not
people
right.
in this city do not want to go downtown.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you can't feel safe. You know
I mean, you go to the bathroom, you have some groceries there, and you got, and they just take it from you.
Yeah.
Think they can take it from you.
I think they own you.
You can't do it with me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I am not even sorry, because it's mine.
Yeah.
I
just got a text from Virginia and said to have a great show, you two. She's watching it. Her name is Donica. She works for I can't say what, but I'll put it this, she works for the government. I'm expecting a shutdown. And I'm looking at, when is it the shutdown is supposed to be?
If he agrees, they won't be tomorrow. Either tomorrow or Friday.
Folks, just pray for this country. Don't blame the Democrats. Don't blame the Republicans.
No.
Blame you can't blame the parties. All you can do is blame the people, And just open your heart and just... One of the things I really say, I do a lot of slimming. I'm not going to say I don't. But I also pray for our country as well.
Yeah. And I say, I'm even saying to the presidents, whoever becomes president again, and now, stop slamming the people's face and stop slamming and say they look like jerks and all that. Stop it. Yeah. And it starts from the top.
And a reverse from whether it's the other great leaders I know, Pelosi
stop it. There's no
great,
need.
All stop naming both sides need to stop.
Yeah, stop calling people names.
Right,
stop, How would they like it, Norm, if someone made fun of their family?
Well, they make
they
fun
wouldn't
of
like it.
Yeah. Well, they make fun of Trump's young son because he has autism.
That's wrong. I say it's wrong.
It really is.
Yes, it is. You leave the kids out.
Yeah. I truly believe, being a psychic, I've been weighing this out. This makes sense. Now, we know that Trump's daughter and Hillary Clinton's daughter are the best of friends.
Yeah.
We already know that.
Yeah.
I also believe that Pelosi and Trump are good friends, too. But they're
They probably have to,
stirring
who
up,
cares?
what they want to stir.
But it's not
up.
always. You hear a lot of it from the news.
Yeah,
Well,
the
you've got
news
to
is
take
your worst
it,
enemy.
okay? You can take a little bit and leave a little bit. And that's just what I do.
Yeah. I don't even publicize it on my Facebook.
Yeah. No, it
'Cause when
doesn't
it starts
pay.
affecting
Because they're
my...
coming back at you
Yeah.
for it.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And when it starts
And
affecting my
I
charity...
won't be, and I won't be involved in any of that.
no.
It's not, they want to let them do it. But,
Right.
folks, leave the names out. Leave one thing. Leave the kids alone.
And stop killing the babies at term.
Oh, that's so sickening.
You know, I've been listening and I've been checking it out. I hope we can find the proof of the right to know law. They've actually been doing this in New Hampshire at the Planned Parenthood when
Yeah.
the children are at birth, that they actually kill them.
Yeah, there's one, a lot of people don't know, there's one right here in Manchester, you know.
Yeah. Planned
And
Parenthood.
I used to live on a corner, near Pennacook. The building goes from Pennacook Street to Sagamore Street. That's how big the building is. It's a well-known building in Manchester. It's what they call hysterical. I never
Right.
can say that word.
Yeah.
What they call like history. It's
Yeah.
it's a history one.
Yeah.
And I used to hear pop, 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 because when they were open, they were doing it, and they would have people outside, of course, you know, what demonstrating what they were doing.
Now that I didn't like. And the reason, I have to be pro-choice because I have to allow the people
That's
to
what
make
they
their
were
own
doing.
decisions.
They didn't want that anymore.
Right,
That's why they were there, because they didn't want the babies to be killed.
Right. And I don't like it when I see them, like my granddaughter was only 8 years old. And boy, I got a lot of flack for they said, oh no, that never happened. But I was there. And they showed a picture of a baby being aborted.
Wasn't that terrible?
And I think this is the worst thing
that's
I've
so
ever seen.
sickening.
And I
It's
said,
sickening in
you
this
know,
country.
pro-life is one thing, but don't put all these pictures in front of
No,
a child.
you're right. You're right.
You know,
You're right. And now they can the mother can make the decision now.
yeah.
I think it's New York that's got it. New
Oh, yeah.
York and, is it Virginia?
I think
Another
they-
state.
well,
There's
there's one
two or
again-
three
I
states
think-
right
yeah.
now that's
That's
doing
what-
it.
But I'm happy that Utah has banned it. Florida had said no. I believe Alabama said no.
Yeah.
I'm actually asking for people to pray for the citizens of New York to come forward and say no
And say
more.
something.
You know, I've had a lot of people that come into my office that had abortions.
Yeah.
I know one of them, and the guilt that they are living with.
Yeah.
See,
I couldn't live with myself.
no, you know, I often think, Mary, I'm a miracle child because had I been in the era of today, I would
Yeah.
not be here.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
when I was born, the doctor says to my mother, and here I am today, and they says, you better get her baptized because I don't think she's going to live much longer. If she makes it 2 months, she's going to be good because I was so sick. So I got a picture when I was born in November. I think just before Thanksgiving, I was baptized. In fact, they did it where I didn't have, the regular clothes, but I was baptized in my nightgown, baby's nightgown, because they said to do it before the month's over. And here I am today.
Bitching all the way.
I know, huh? And I love it. And I love it. Hey, folks,
Me
give us a
too.
call if you want to get on.
I always feel this way. We had to go through our journey
Yes.
to be able to help other people.
Yeah. Yeah,
Am
true.
I going to say regret? Is there anything in my life that changed? Not at all.
Yeah.
I would
think
not change anything.
next month, if I remember right, there's a date, an open session up in Concord. I want to go to that one, to the State House.
Yeah.
And that's where you can speak.
Right.
And I want to go to that one.
You're getting pretty brave, aren't you?
I've always been like that. You
Yeah,
bother me and I'm
you're
coming
becoming
after
more
you.
and more brave since you had your TV show.
I know, huh?
There he comes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be welcoming Al. No, not his last name, but that's all right.
How are you, Norm?
I am just fine. How are you?
Doing great.
Yeah. There we go. The Honorable Al, you want to pronounce your last name?
Baldasaro.
Huh?
Baldasaro.
Baldasaro. You don't
Just
think I'm
the way
going to
it's
remember
spelled.
that?
Baldasaro.
So did you have a busy day?
Yeah, I have. I just actually came from the State House. Fought the traffic getting here, but it wasn't bad. A little snow in Concord there, so.
Really?
Oh, yeah, there you go. One thing I know about you, I want to see you running for Congress.
Well, I've been called a few times, asked if I would run for U.S. Senate.
Either one, I
and
don't care.
I have. I keep telling them, show me the money. You know?
Well, that's it. The government will show you the money if you're
No,
right.
not at all. I mean,
But I actually believe once you get out there, because you're getting pretty well known.
yeah, I've been all around the country there, and I helped with Donald Trump. I helped him write his veterans plan, so I got to be known throughout the country. And I'm in and out of the White House on
Yeah, I
veterans
see you.
leadership.
I see you on TV.
Really?
a lot.
So that's
on leadership
exciting.
meetings and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm honored to have a say. But after my 22 years in the Marine Corps, I have a lot of medical issues that I deal with. You know what I mean? So this is my way of giving back.
Right.
Yeah.
Being on the Veterans Affairs Committee and stuff.
You know what bothers me? When they want to shut down the veterans care. When they want to do all that. For what reason?
Well,
What qualified Chris Pappas to be in the Veterans Affairs?
nothing whatsoever. He has no experience. Nothing. Has not come back and asked any of us what's going on. I've ever seen him at any meetings on veterans. He's never entered my committee in the 13. I'm on my 13th year on the State and Federal Relations and Veterans Affairs Committee. Never seen him in there at all. So I don't know what experience he thinks he has. And, and what's he show up at the President's Nation speech there, State of the Nation speech, or whatever it's called. But anyways, he brings a transgender Navy guy. Why? Knowing that he don't know the particulars what goes on in the military. They break everyone down even.
Oh, he did go to the president's speech?
Oh, yeah, he did go,
he
and he
did.
brought a guy from Auburn, God bless him. You want to be transgender? Hey, that's your business. I don't care. But don't push it on everybody else.
No, I
and
agree with
make
that.
us, that we have to accept. I don't care what you are. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a Catholic. Don't force it.
Yeah,
I
am
got
too.
friends. Matter of fact, one of my good friends just came out a transgender. You know what I mean? I love him like a brother. He's a great friend.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, if that which makes you feel, that's your business. It's nobody else's. God bless you, I told
Keep
him.
it to yourself.
Yeah, no. Well, he
No,
dresses
it
that way,
wasn't
so he's
like-
not keeping it himself.
Yeah.
It's out. But that don't mean he's any less of a friend.
No.
Yeah.
But I just don't accept and think it's right. I mean, it's just my opinion.
Well, you know what? That's why I don't believe in the, what is it, the LGB,
Oh,
whatever,
Right.
gay.
BLG or something.
Right, all that. I don't believe it. I'm gay. And,
Right.
And
we're
that's
friends,
okay.
and I don't
Yeah.
care. Who
No.
cares?
But what I do in my house, but I don't need, I was just telling her that I got beat up back in the 90s because I was gay. I called on the community, LBJ, when they couldn't even bother to return my phone call to find
See,
out.
that's a shame. Yeah.
So that's sad. I will not belong to any kind of a community
Right.
like that. I don't need to. I got friends. Mary and I go back a long time because
Yeah.
she was my bodyguard,
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
I don't want to
was.
break my
Literally.
neck.
Right, yeah.
He
But,
started something, but he never finished it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people, like you just said, that's like religion. I have no right to put my beliefs on you, just like
Right.
you have no right to
No,
put my,
that's the way it's,
That's what
it should be.
This is what I kind
And
of
everybody gets along. You know what I mean? We all have different likes or whatever, or dislikes.
It'd be a hell of a thing
But
if we
why
had
should
everything
a
alike.
certain group push me and call me names because I don't
I
believe in
just got
that?
done saying that.
Oh,
You know,
you would be
that's not right.
I just got done saying
Did
that.
you? Good.
I get called a lot of names, and that's
Yeah, but that's not right. You
But
as an
we-
individual, God love you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That you believe in what you believe in. Who am I as an American to tell
There you
you
go.
how you should be or how you should
right,
or how you should spend your money? It's
When
none of my business.
When I was a born again Christian many, many years ago, and I respect Gary, but I had a little girl. And she died like 36 hours later. The Christian minister says, because you lived such a sinful life, this is your punishment. God chose to take it. And you know what?
We'll never know that.
No, I almost committed suicide.
Yeah,
over it, you
wow,
know.
yeah.
But you know what? That's okay today because I know she's here. And I
Right.
have my son, and of course I've been married like everybody else. Hasn't
Right.
everybody been married 4 times?
I'm on my third marriage.
All right.
That qualifies me to run for president.
Hey, there you
You know what I mean? So, yeah. But if we looked in the mirror and realized we all don't live in glass
Why
houses.
don't you run?
I don't know. I'm happy right now helping veterans in New Hampshire. I actually help veterans all around the country. I'm happy. I'm the floor lead. I was going to run for speaker. I ran for speaker before. I'm the floor lead. I lost by 9 votes for the Republican leader because a lot of conservatives that voted for Dick Hinch is a friend of mine. But they said, Al, they didn't think I had a chance because there was 4 people running, and I came in second. You know what I mean? So then it was a runoff between myself and Dick Hinch. Like I said, Dick is a great guy. He's a personal friend. He's more on the moderate. I'm more on the conservative side. So, and I'm more a liberty guy. I'm a tell it like it is guy. I don't hold any punches. If you don't like what I'm going to say, don't listen.
There you go. You
That's
hear
what
that?
I tell people. If you don't want to know, then don't ask you.
Don't listen. It's a free country.
Yeah.
I say the same thing.
I tell everyone, I didn't serve 22 years in the Marine Corps to give a one inch of my freedom of speech.
My hat's off to you.
Mine too.
And I don't think any American should. If you hurt somebody's feelings, life goes on.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, listen,
And what I do,
toughen up, Buttercup. That's what I say.
Yeah. Well, what I do I do readings on people and for a living.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm considered a psychic. I call myself a spiritual reader. Okay, and Mary can tell you I don't bull crap anybody. I'm not going to fake it out. If I can't read you, I'm going to tell you. But if you don't come to me if you're going to come to me to hear what you want to hear.
Right.
And don't hear what you need to hear.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Don't waste my time.
Yeah.
And I will never tell you, any person that does what I do tells you they're 100% accurate, then you stay away from them.
Right, yeah.
By the way, you're going to be around till you're 99 years old.
Well, I don't know. I am, I hope so. I plan on trying to fight in this business and try to make a difference. I mean, it's rewarding being able to help people that really don't know where to go or how to get help.
That's what I say, too. Last week, Al, I'm going to tell you that what I do, I help a lot of people understand when their family members cross over and stuff like that. And I'm glad I don't have my ego anymore because my head would be way out here, seriously. First of all, you love what you do.
I do. I'm passionate about helping people.
And that's what I do. And I don't care if I make a lot of enemies with the Democrat, become a Libertarian. I'm going to speak the way I feel.
That's the way it should be.
Do I always agree with what Democrats are doing or Republicans? No.
Did I tell you? I told you before, I think, Norm, I grew up in Cambridge, Massachusetts,
That's
right up by the
area.
Museum of Science. I grew up in East Cambridge there. We used to be Italian, Portuguese, Irish there.
Right.
We would leave our doors open. But my grandfather was a 4-term mayor of Cambridge.
Oh, wow.
He was a politician for 50 years, Al Vellucci. I grew up at Tip O'Neill.
He's
I grew
in
up
the
with the
history book,
Kennedys.
isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He took
I read
on
about
Harvard
him.
University and everything.
Wow.
When they were buying up property, and he forced them to pay taxes, to pay fees, so he wouldn't have to tax the people to make up for the difference on the lost, revenue. But anyways, I was a Democrat up until Ronald Reagan was the second year as my commander-in-chief. I was already in the Marines, and I realized I like spending my own money, not the government. I want government out of my pocket. I want them out of my house. I don't mind paying taxes for services, but don't keep taxing me and make me go to the gutter when I'm working hard for a living for my family to provide.
And I agree
You know what I'm
with you.
saying? In this
Yes.
redistribution that the Democrats want, they want everyone else to redistribute, not themselves. So what I'm getting at, as a kid, I used to ask Tip O'Neill and my grandfather, because I met John Kennedy when I was 4 or 5 years old.
You met JFK?
I met John Kennedy down in Cambridge when he was running for president. He was in my grandfather's yard. We had the Italian feast of St. Cosimo Damian going on, okay? And I still remember it like it was yesterday. But what I'm saying is I used to ask, if you're for the working people, because the Democrats used to say that all the time, then why do you keep taxing them? Because if you have deep pockets, you don't care. But the working people are the ones paying those taxes.
You're right.
And I couldn't handle it. I just didn't understand it, and it really bothered me. And I realized I was a Republican.
I can remember when JFK got assassinated.
Yeah, me too.
I was just graduating from nursing school, and we're all in the cotton. None of us are 21.
Right.
We're all sitting in the lounge there having double martinis, They just show my little finger with tippy up, And all of a sudden the lady comes up, she took some drinks, so I go, oh no, we got caught, And John Kennedy got assassinated. I always will believe this through many psychic power that he did not die there. He died on a remote island. That's why, what was his name, Jackie Kennedy Onassis buried this guy and so that he could keep him there.
Yeah.
No one has ever been able to prove me wrong.
Yeah, but the movie, I mean, and not the movie, the news reports a show. The gunshot and everything. He's sitting in the car.
Don't get me wrong.
In the
he
public.
was still in a coma.
You think so? Yeah, that's.
Yeah. And they actually killed the wrong guy.
Wow.
But Justice Alfred, he wasn't about John Kennedy. He was not afraid to admit that he had a mentally challenged sister.
Right. Yeah.
That's what
the father.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. His daughter was.
And that's a shame.
His sister. Yeah. His the one thing we all know that Rose ran the country.
Right.
But I worked for the mentally challenged for 23 years.
Were you a nurse? You said, yeah, that's awesome.
Loved every minute of it.
Very rewarding working with people. I mean,
was the very first one to come out. But very rewarding.
Yeah. I've been all over the world. And I've been in third world countries. I served in Desert Storm, Desert Shield. I went into Kuwait. I met the women on how were telling the stories through interpreters on how they were raped, their husbands were killed in front of them. I learned a lot. It really opened my eyes up. Sometimes I see in my sleep, some of the stuff there and the things that I've seen, over there. But I kiss the ground I walk on as an American.
You're right.
I love when I wake up in the morning. I say, "Thank you, God, you gave me another day."
Yep. I say the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of who I am.
Scott and I have been together for 22 years. I don't believe in that running up and getting a gay marriage.
Right.
We're happy just the way we are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
I honestly, after having my son, and what he had to go through, being gay back in the 70s, do I recommend gay adoption? I'm sorry. You can call me anything you want. I don't care, but that's my belief.
Norm, are you happy?
I am absolutely happy.
Then God bless. Who cares?
Yeah. And I don't believe in a gay pride.
Right.
Let's have a heterosexual day. Well, our friend John Burt, right?
Yeah.
We're going to have a blue shirt
guy.
day.
Yeah.
We're all going to wear blue.
John's a great guy.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
If you're going to have all these different days, but let's have a blue day. We can't have
I was
a
stationed in
day.
Delaware, and that was my last duty station. I was what you call the inspector instructor first sergeant. Well, while I was down there, I bought a beach place down on Bethany area on the coast side where I can have a boat in the water and everything else down there with my kids. We used to like to go to Rehoboth Beach. But the thing is, the homosexual community flaunted so much. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't care.
No.
You know what I mean? And you're down there with your children. It took me one time just to go there. And I said, why would I want to bring my children to a beach like this here? Where, they're dropping, they're grabbing, doing, and they're doing it purposely. Why?
Yeah.
That's like
would
what
you do that? Even heterosexual, I don't think they should be doing it in front
No,
of
you're right.
You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
And I got disgusted, I'll be honest with you, because I'm a family man. It's up to me to teach my children.
I hate it when they teach it in school.
Right, yeah. I
Show
agree.
pictures of transgenders in the kindergarten.
They're brainwashing the children in public
be,
schools.
They keep it at home.
Right, yeah. But no matter what you want to be in life, that's you. That's where you're accountable for your own actions.
Yes.
Just like myself, I didn't live a perfect life. I lived a wild life, in the Marines all around the world.
Have a lot of friends.
I had 3 wives, 7 children. I have 7.
But you took care of the children.
But I took care of them. I made damn sure.
I always, when my ex-wife was pregnant with my son, I had all the morning sickness.
Oh yeah.
I had all the labor pains, and I even swelled up. So I went out and bought me a maternity top.
Did you?
Yeah. And then I honestly believe all these so-called men, it doesn't take a man to make a child. It takes an idiot.
Yeah.
It takes a man like you and I to be responsible.
Right. To be, you're damn right. To be a father.
Right.
To
and
be
I
a real
think
dad.
I think they should separate, go through the labor pains, go through the morning sickness. I think you watch it.
I agree with that.
And what I have seen now, I went across the street from the park. I have to, and I got to give my friend Bill Barry, he and I, he's never come, but that's okay, we're still good friends.
Right.
He and I are working together. It only takes one person to approve something.
Right.
And I have seen more fathers stepping up to the plate.
That's awesome. That's
And
what
I'm
it should
not,
be.
and I'm talking about people from other
Yeah.
countries that
yeah.
take it up. The only thing I didn't like was when I saw this little boy kicking his mother because he couldn't get his own way. I said, "Well, don't you do something?" She said, "If I do, my husband will beat me." I said, "You don't need to be in that relationship."
You ain't kidding, yeah.
Isn't that sad?
Any man that puts his hand on a woman,
It's a coward.
yeah.
I agree with that.
Any man,
Yes,
you know.
sir.
I've stepped in a
And a
couple of
woman shouldn't
areas
do it
where I've
either.
seen, was out
Go
in
both
North
ways.
Carolina, somewhere else, at night where,
Yeah.
a guy would push the girl there. I was with a few Marines there.
Yeah.
You
My
know,
son would
he
play
was
down
sorry
in
he ever put his
Uptown.
hand on the
Yeah.
girl, but I'll
My
leave it
son
at
would
that.
play at Uptown.
It should go both ways.
Yeah.
Uptown is down here. It was a dive club, but we had a lot of fun there. My son had a band and we played in there. He and 200 people ran across the street because this guy was beating up on this girl,
Yeah.
and they grabbed him, and she said that she turned on them.
Wow. Yeah, that's a shame.
And I said,
No women should ever take that. No,
No.
women.
for some reason I don't
But
know
you're
why
right.
they
There
feel
are some
guilty.
women that beat up their boy.
They
their
do,
Oh
guys.
yeah, it's a two-way
Right.
street.
Yeah.
One of the I had something I had been on my mind. Part of Planned Parenthood. You're a pretty intelligent guy. You know how to play private detective when you have to, am I right?
Yeah. Well.
Okay. When they were talking, I was reading on Facebook about, from what I think it was either Gary or John Hinkle or somebody, about how in New Hampshire they had actually done murder on a full-term child.
We don't know. We don't know because there's no statistics. I believe
I believe
it's
that. Why
happening.
would they,
I believe
they're
it's
hiding
happening.
it?
I believe because New Hampshire is a state, and we discussed this the last time when I was here with Gary Harper, and you can kill a baby up until a minute before the baby's born. The woman could be laying there dilating, and you can kill a baby.
How awful.
It is awful. Now, do we have proof that anyone, like Virginia doctor said, the governor, do we have proof that anyone outside the body, the baby that was born, that they killed it, let him dehydrate? I don't know. But why are they hiding the statistics? I just co-sponsored legislation, so we have statistics in here. So we can take a look at what is causing these abortions. Is it because of DNA? Maybe there's medical issues, or what? Or is it just because the girl just fooling around, got pregnant, and guy didn't want nothing to do it? I had a girlfriend who had an abortion. This is where it opened my eyes. In the Marine Corps, I never in a million years ever thought about what abortion is. I had no clue what it was. Didn't pay no mind until it happened to me when a girlfriend had an abortion. And then I realized I could have raised that child. Why didn't I have an opportunity to raise that child? I would have taken the baby.
See, that's what I get upset about. You as you and I as fathers have no right.
Yeah,
to
we have
say.
none.
And that's wrong.
And
No
what,
say.
what the sad part is now, a 13-year-old girl can go and get an abortion without the parents' consent.
Well,
Or is it one parent?
do you know that? Do you follow the money trail on this here on the 13-year-old girl? If a 13-year-old girl gets pregnant, 9 out of 10 times it's incest.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody in the family,
Yeah.
somebody's bringing her in to hide it, okay, to get rid of the abortion. The child's been threatened, in a lot of these cases. Why they don't report it in New Hampshire, something's wrong. Do you know in Massachusetts, you can't have abortions like that? You know what I mean? With no parental consent.
It happened to my family.
But they're bringing the girls here into New Hampshire. We had a young girl testifying, her mother, a few years ago at a hearing. The girl had an abortion in New Hampshire, went home and was bleeding, internally bleeding there, and the mother didn't know what was going on. They had to get an ambulance coming in. The mother didn't find out till later on what
That's
happened.
sad.
It's
But
sad.
yet,
Yeah.
if a girl or a guy wants to buy a pack of cigarettes,
You need a license. You need 18.
18.
Yeah.
Or you want or a military person, right? But yet it's okay. Oh, I don't want to be pregnant anymore, so I don't have to tell what's going. I'm a firm believer that, and people can disagree with me. Can they call in any comments to make you want to say something to Al, but be direct and be nice about it.
Oh, don't worry about it. Tell me
No
like it
name.
is.
Yeah, okay.
I can handle it. I'm a
Yeah.
big boy.
Yeah, but
I fight back.
I want to, but it bothers me because there's a lawyer out of Concord, I'm not going to mention names because that's not important, but she was one of my clients. And I looked at her and I said, you can never, ever get pregnant again. She had 7 abortions.
Wow.
And she's a lawyer. She said that was the best way she knew how to take. And when her husband married her, he took her through the cleaners because she wasn't on. See, I'm a firm believer that, like with your girlfriend that had the abortion, I'm a firm believer. I think that the father should have that right to talk it over with him. Oh, yes, it's a woman's body, but it's a man and woman's child.
But
Takes two to tango.
Right.
Yeah, it does.
Well,
And
actually, there's no excuse for pregnancy today.
But the family court system, in my opinion, in New Hampshire is broken. And I honestly believe that the family court should be doing the best interest of the child and trying to work with the parents that you stay involved in the child's lives. When the court decides in favor of one, if there's no vicious, because the kids are used as pawns in the court system.
All the time.
If courts will make shared parenting, man, to keep the father and mother involved in that child's life,
Yes.
we'll see a better society.
Yep.
I have a gentleman right now, his daughter is dying of cancer. Her mother has corrupted her so bad that she doesn't want to see her own father.
Wow.
They abandoned him from the hospital. And he paid child support. He loves the children, and they come because she even admitted to the judge that she was hung out on drugs. She couldn't cooperate without him. And now she's getting all kinds of state and welfare.
Right. It's all about a lot of times
Her
about the
family
almighty
are very,
dollar.
oh yeah. Her family are very wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then another one I know is a woman. So it's two-way street.
Right.
That his family has tied her up so bad that she has a problem trying to see her own children. And she works all the time.
Right.
Like you said, if you got money, you're going to do whatever.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. You're good to go. But if you're a mother struggling, or even a father. I watched a father in my town. I went into the court. We used to have at the State House what's called a redress of grievance. In the New Hampshire Constitution, there's a section in it that talks about you and the people have the right to redress for wrongdoings, their legislator. So under Bill O'Brien, who put in this redress of grievance committee, and some of us legislators, Gary Hopper, Dan Itzer put it together, Paul Ingmanson, and we would go out to the courts and sit and listen to these cases. I sat in Derry Court and watched a father who I knew was in my district in London. I see him all around town with his daughter, had custody of his daughter. A sealed envelope, the galleon and light him, handed to the judge. The judge made it a marital master, not a judge. Took his child away from me, and still to this day, this is 5, 6 years, 7 years ago, still to this day, he don't know what was in that letter, why he lost his daughter. Now, what did that do? It pushed his father over the line. Now he has nothing. He stopped working. He was an engineer. Now he's doing those side jobs to survive, and he just took himself off the system.
That's sad.
Yeah, it's a sad thing what they did to this father. And I used to see him around town.
Might have hurt the children more than they help them.
Yeah.
My friend, that was just telling you about that, the drug problem, hurting the mother and the drug problem. The guardian that wasn't even certified as a guardian ad litem, but they still allowed her testimony.
Right.
And I don't understand the laws in New Hampshire.
Yeah, I don't either. I think they need to be more focused on the mother and the father, making sure that it's the best interest for that child. Not push the father away. Go to marriage counsel, go to parenting counseling, even if you can't be together.
Yeah.
Then parental counseling or whatever. Not being the first thing to do is take the child out.
Right.
Let's get him in foster care. It makes it even worse
Right.
sometimes. Unless it's a drug issue.
Right.
And it's just there's no hope.
Yeah,
Then
how
I can
true.
understand.
My ex-wife and I, she left. We're still good. We're friends today. I give her a lot of credit.
Mm-hmm.
But if we had, and I know, back in the late 70s, early 80s, if I had petitioned the court for custody and they had found out I was gay, I would have
Never got it. Never happened.
But she came over. We both came to an agreement with it, and I would tell you, being a single parent, as you probably already know, it's not an easy role.
No, I was a single dad. I got custody of my daughter. She was the last one I had in school, her junior year and her senior year. But I was already taking her out and shopping and all that, and doing everything for her. But the weird thing about it today here is, I've been married to my wife now over 5 years, and we've been together 10. I'm friends with my last two ex-wives.
Why not?
So I'm not a bad guy, I guess. We're still friends. Even though it was rough, the divorces and everything else, I'm not going to beat them up on the different reasons why. I was a Marine
like
and other
that.
stuff.
My ex-wife, you met her.
Yeah.
She thought me and I were going to get
Oh,
together.
yeah,
I
she
go,
was
no,
very
no, no,
jealous.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
She should tell me
Right.
Funny.
something. She said to me, we should have stayed married, even though I know you were gay. I go, no, why be unhappy?
Right, yeah.
And she's found her church, and she's very happy with it. She's 10 years older than I am.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm only 37.
Right, yeah. It's like me, I'm 39.
Right.
Yeah. And I married, my wife's about 10 years younger than me, and I married an angel. I tell you,
So
I've
you're
been
a
on.
cougar.
I've been in heaven for 10 years since I met her. I mean, it took me 3 times to get it right. But I don't knock my past marriages or anything like that because, like I
What
said,
good does that do?
we stayed friends for the best interest of the children. And we go to birthdays together, we grandchildren functions, everything.
That's good. I'd
Ladies
like
and
to hear
gentlemen, we
that.
are here with Al.
That's good.
Baldasaro.
Baldasaro. How long have you been a state senator?
I've been a state representative I'm on my 13th year.
You must be doing something right.
I'm a former chairman of a committee. I'm a former vice chair. Like I said, I ran for speaker. I'm the Republican floor leader. Hopefully, once we take back the House in 2020, I'll be running for speaker if I don't run for senator. But like I said, if nobody shows me the money, I'm happy doing what I'm doing.
You know what would be really cool? And John Burt running for Congress and winning, and you winning for the United States
Oh,
Senate.
yeah.
That's what you're talking about, the
You're
United
right,
States
yeah.
Senate, right?
Yes, U.S. Senate, yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
It would. John's a great guy. Yeah, I love John Burt.
He's been on my show several
Yeah, he's a tell it like it is guy. Very focused. Matter of fact, I testified today on his committee. Whenever the Democrats take over, the first thing they do is go after the people's guns.
Why?
I don't understand it because what you're doing is you're going after law-abiding citizens' guns. Criminals do not comply with laws. So that's what you're doing.
They're going to get their guns
right.
one way or the other.
And they got people thinking that we don't do background checks on gun owners. That's not true.
No.
When you go buy a pistol, a state police check is done. And when you go buy a gun, an FBI check is done. Okay, and the reason why on the pistols they do because of the court system don't catch up with the FBI, but it does with the state. So on the pistols, they want to make sure with domestic violence that, somebody didn't, just go on and, get a gun that killed their wife. So they want to make sure that they're not in, they don't have the
My
right.
son went to me, because he has both the federal and the state.
Right.
He says the intensive background check that they go through is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
And I also am a believer that if, I'm thinking about my son because he's a license to teach how to shoot properly.
Oh, is he NRA instructor? Or,
No, he's on his own. He doesn't have a lot of faith with the NRA.
Yeah.
They're all about money, But he can do it with the NRA. He's a member.
Right.
But he and I both feel, and I think you'll agree with me, that if I'm going to get a gun, I should take a class on the proper use of a gun.
Oh, I agree. But most people, I'll use a lot of women I know that have guns, all went through the gun course.
Yeah.
All take the safety course.
Yeah.
I don't know too many people that own a gun that just to buy a gun and have a gun and never train on it.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
maybe.
Because the gun groups are packed. They have waiting lists there for the Londonderry Fish and Game
Yeah.
just to get into that gun club. And I'm sure all the other gun clubs are the same
Well,
way.
a lot of it is because of the sort of back women,
Right.
and when everybody wants to take their guns away. Everybody is preparing.
Right.
I would not want to be a police officer or someone that is appointed to come and take my gun away.
Right, you ain't kidding.
You know?
No, I ask everyone, and I say the same thing here. With all these laws you keep coming up with, show me where the problem is in New Hampshire. Where's the problem? We're the safest state in the country
Yeah.
Yep.
because of our gun laws. If you look at California, Detroit, Chicago, Hawaii with strict gun laws. You can't have certain magazines. You can't have AR-15s. Look at all the killings, murders. Look at the state of New Hampshire. Where people aren't shooting themselves every day. Guns aren't going off here in New Hampshire.
They don't go off by themselves either.
And I co-sponsored where you stand your ground. Where you have the right to protect yourself wherever you have the right to be.
I wish I had the money. I mean,
Yeah.
I would go get a gun. I saw
But
a
I'm sure
gun.
you would take a course on
Yeah,
safety
of course.
and the proper procedures. And,
Because where I
handling
saw the gun is cheap enough, but I don't have the money.
Mhm.
Well, I
Right.
want
To
one
get
with a
one.
purple and pink handle.
They
Yeah.
have a pink one where I
I'll
saw.
do the-
Oh,
I'll do the
yeah.
take a look.
And I've been asked to go.
Attorney Penny
on so-
Dean, I don't know if you know her.
Yeah.
She's a
Yeah.
gun Second Amendment lawyer. She has pink pistols and everything, and she's unbelievable. Pink AR-15. Yeah.
Well, I always, one lady said, but you're gay, why would you dare to own a gun? And you should ever, I said, because I'm what? Oh,
Yeah.
you would have been so proud of me because I had to put my hands in my pocket.
Yeah.
Okay. I said, who the hell are you to tell me,
Right.
because of my lifestyle, that I can't own a gun?
Yeah.
I said, so that would give you permission to come and shoot me, and that would be okay. Actually,
You wouldn't be able to
police in
protect- you wouldn't be able to
Manchester.
protect yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
But in the,
You know, it's a shame in today's society. I've been threatened to be shot at the State House.
Oh, yeah.
I've had people. When my wife had cancer, she had everything taken out. She'd come out of the hospital and everything. And somebody sent the card and said, "I heard you had cancer. I wish you died."
Ooh.
Okay, because they're going after me. You know, they threaten my family, everything else here as a state rep, because I speak out. I say things that people only dream of. But I say things that American have an opinion in accordance with the Constitution and the law of the land. I'll give you an example. You remember when I got attacked for saying I was on the Kahuna show. I was in Cleveland at the Republican convention. We're talking about Benghazi, about what happened on the stand
Right.
down and everything else, and we're talking about Hillary Clinton's emails. And in my opinion, that was aiding and abetting the enemy.
Yeah.
Okay, having veterans stuff on a server where there are special forces in other countries. That's suicide for those guys.
Yeah.
If the enemy can get into your computer. So what I said was, I'm speaking as a veteran. Hillary Clinton should go in front of a firing squad and shot for treason. Now, for the smart person, we're a nation of laws. When I use the word should, you have to be found guilty in a court of law.
Yeah.
If you read the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, treason is in the Constitution. Putting to death is in the Constitution. If you read the U.S. Code 18, aid and abetting the enemy is under U.S. Code 18. Firing squad is there. The treason is there. So I, as an American, had an opinion, because some of my fellow veterans were killed in Benghazi, and right up the street were a Marine detachment, and nothing was done.
And it wasn't.
She did nothing.
And this is what This is what
And I
I
was
don't
attacked.
understand about our country. They're allowing. If they went back to their own country and try to burn their country flag, set it on fire and burn it. If they,
Right.
let's say somebody from Iraq, burn their flag, they would get the death penalty automatically.
Yeah.
Here,
Right.
they can do it and get away with it.
And
If you do a Google
I don't
search,
like-
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. If you do a Google search of my name, you'll see, Al Baldasaro was investigated with the Secret Service. Never, ever was I investigated by the Secret Service. I was with the Secret Service. I was in the same hotel with Donald Trump. They used fake news. They took my words and they said, I wanted her assassinated. Those words never, ever came out of my mouth. But yet the puppets out there that followed the
Fake
news
news.
media,
A lot of
they
fake news is out
followed
there.
and listened to them that I wanted her assassinated. I got phone calls. They called my house. They threatened me. All I did was say, well, look for the Marine Corps flag. Just watch out for my booby traps.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
You
a
and
shame.
I get upset when I see these, like the Robert De Niro, when he came
He's a
here.
disgrace.
I will never, ever again watch his movies.
Yeah, he's a disgrace. That's a
He
shame.
really is. When he said all that. And now when they did the Grammy Award, I mean, don't get me wrong, I have nothing against Michelle Obama, But when
I like
think
Michelle,
that
and
was-
I've been with Obama
Right.
in the White House.
Yeah. But when they put her on with them Grammys,
She was
that's
asked.
when they made it.
Right.
Huh?
She was. I think it's great.
Well, I think it's I'm on a more.
You
It
know-
would be if it was for the right reason, but I think it's politically
Yeah.
motivated.
You know, I disagree.
Everybody
with-
was invited, but a lot
Right.
of people didn't want to go.
Yeah. You know, I disagreed with Michelle, the president's policies.
Yeah.
But personally, I met him. I was in the White House in the Oval Office with him and my son, because my son used to be what they call HMX-1, the president's helicopters. When you transfer, you go in and take a picture. The president kept me in there in his office about 10 minutes shooting a breeze about New Hampshire.
He's
He was
human.
he was human. He was honorable. You know what I mean? But I respected the White House. He's my president, whether I liked his policies or not. Today, it's a disgrace what's going on. Trump was never called a racist. Woman, he's a womanizer. He was a bachelor for years. He was a playboy. We didn't elect a pope.
No, and he admitted it.
He admitted it. Okay? And then now all of a sudden he's a racist. He's an Islamophobe. I've been with the man over and over, all around the country. I spoke at his rallies. I'm going to tell you right now, the guy is doesn't work. Being on a construction site with a bunch of guys or sitting in the barracks with a bunch of Marines having a conversation. That's how he is. He's down to earth, that type of guy.
See, they made a big deal with it. He went and had a McDonald's order out for the football college. That's what they wanted.
Right.
They didn't want to sit down to a big fancy meal. They wanted the cheeseburger.
But I still say it's my opinion, folks, not anybody else.
You rate your opinion.
We
may agree to disagree.
We're free to say it, but to me, they should have had something else besides that for the guy.
But that's what they wanted.
But that's what they wanted.
They asked them. They really did. They asked them.
You know what I mean? I love cheeseburgers. You know what I mean? I love fries.
I love hamburgers.
Tacos.
When I can't go. I get kicked out of every McDonald's.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. I went to one over in Goffstown, and I asked for a cheeseburger. The clerk asked me 4 times if I want cheese on a cheeseburger. Needless to say, I got a little impatient. The queen came out, and then the general manager, well, I don't see anything wrong with what she was saying. I go, so you're retarded as she is. They said, don't come back here. I said, really? And I won't. Right. And then when they had that one on 2nd Street, remember when they had that, the kids were in the playground there and they pooped all over the place.
McDonald's?
Nobody cleaned that up at McDonald's.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I said, I can't. And the bathroom, I said, I can't eat it. She said, good, we don't want you back here. We heard what you did. Come find out the one that was the manager and the one that, and God's that was the manager. I don't have a problem, but I'm also learning. God bless him.
But when it gets to name calling,
that's right.
That's where you got to draw the line there. And I can understand that because when you called her a name, then it's a little different. Now you're putting a wall up.
Well, I wouldn't have done it.
I've been saying that.
It's very important.
Glad you're coming out with it.
When I disagree with somebody and I see they're getting, I just very say, hey, we agree to disagree. Yeah. And life goes on,
That's right.
Shake the hands and move on, because you're not going to get anywhere. There's no reason to get the name calling.
No.
I did apologize for that name calling, but it was wrong. Right. You're right. Yeah. I actually started. If you go to I actually started from my dog Baldasaro. I used to go to every McDonald's. I'd always ask for a doggy burger for him. The lady says, a doggy burger? I go, well, yeah, that's without bread. That's out with just plain hamburger. Right. Well, I don't know if I can do that. I kept my temper down. Right, yeah. The manager come over and says, okay, no problem.
Well, you have to remember when you walk into a McDonald's or Burger King, you're dealing with young kids. Yeah. You're dealing with kids that are still in school. Some of them really can't even add change, give change. I don't understand what's going on with some of them there. But, I mean, at least they're out working, and they're probably coming from the family. I like. You know what I mean? So this is a great opportunity. It's a shame some of them will probably, don't have what it takes to move on into college and other. I hope that we start pushing more and more into technical fields, carpenter, plumbers, electrician, pipe fitters, things like that.
And I were growing up, they expected us
that's
to
right,
go to college.
Yeah. Because if you don't go on to college, then these are areas that we need. And you can make more money than a college grad as a plumber or HVAC.
When I looked out the window one day on Cumberland Street, and I'm watching these dirt diggers, okay? And I respect them, so don't misunderstand, okay? And I said, I'm a nurse. I've been to college. They're making more money than I am.
That's right. So, college is not made for everyone, and I agree. My father wanted me to go on to college, and I was going to be a police officer in Cambridge, Mass. My grandfather was the mayor who did the appointments. He appointed the cadet program to go to the police academy and everything. My name wasn't on the list. This was when I was getting ready to graduate from high school. I wanted to go to the academy. They had this young cadet program where you could start young. And I got pissed. I can say, I got mad. And I didn't say that to anyone. I just went and joined the Marine Corps. Okay, and my mother, I went back because I had just turned 18. And I told my mother and my father, I'm joining the Marines. I'm not going to be a police officer. So what do you mean? I said, Grandpa didn't pick me. He picked somebody else. Because there was a list of 30 they were picking. And because I was his grandson, he didn't want people to talk that he
Yeah,
picked
then
a
he
family
showed me-
member.
But he did the best thing
Right.
for you, didn't he?
Yeah. So my mother didn't talk to her father for a year over this here because I joined the Marines and I said, I don't need his help. I'll do it on my own. And that's what I've done. Went on my own and did it. This is a great country we live in.
Your
Opportunity
your grandfather
is
was a very
there.
highly
Yeah.
respected person.
Oh, they loved him. Yeah, he was. They called him Al, the people's pal. Because he was for the working people.
If I told you he was the most honest man they had, what would you say?
Oh, I'd say you're right. He was.
Can I give you a message from him?
Can you give me a message? Sure.
Okay. He told me that he's very proud of you and the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
He said he did that for you, not as you were talking, but not for you not being a police officer because you wouldn't have survived. But he also said by you honoring the veterans, and he also told me that no matter what other people say, he's a politician through and through, but he's also a people's
Right.
person.
No,
Okay.
well, that's it. But my grandfather wasn't really a politician.
No.
I believe he was elected official because he told people like it was. He didn't kiss anyone's butt for
Well,
a
that's
vote.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, he didn't kiss anyone's butt, and I've learned from the best. Tip O'Neill from the Kennedy, and telling it like it is. They used to say when I was a young kid, and if there's no news, you make the news. Okay, if you're not in the newspaper, nobody knows you. Controversy sells newspapers, as an elected official in this business.
Yep.
I thought about running for like alderman or rep, but you know what? First of all, I don't need people to know. Don't come up and say, "Oh, he got elected because he's a psychic and he knew he was going to do this." You know what I'm saying?
Right,
That
yeah.
they would do that.
But
And,
who cares what people say?
yeah. But I had more fun here.
Right.
Like openly talk almost like better than Meet the
Right.
Press as far as I'm concerned. They're
Yeah.
very democratic.
Oh, yeah.
But I had more fun talking with you because and Chatterbox Gary, I love him.
Yeah.
But I have more fun here, don't we, Mary?
Yep.
Mary and I
We
decided
sure
we're
do.
going to be co-hosting this show forever and a day.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right?
Yep.
And,
I have
and
them
there
all.
again, we don't have to agree.
Yeah.
Neither one of us agree politically.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
that's true.
Yeah,
You
no,
have
I
your
see.
own. You
But
have
that
your
don't
own.
mean you can't be friends.
No.
That's right.
Or be vicious to each other. That's for sure.
I have Republican friends. I have
Yeah.
independent friends. It
I
doesn't
had a
matter.
woman, she was my co-host, and I said something about what Obama had done or whatever. She literally started screaming and getting all,
see, that's a
all
shame.
out of proportion.
Yeah.
I mean, have you been watching that show?
Yeah.
And she literally just had to run off the show. I go,
Wow.
wow.
I was on the Cape. We have a family home down in Mashpee, Cape Cod, and I spent a lot of time during the summers with my family, my grandkids and kids and everything down there. And we were out to eat with some old friends that I grew up in high school, and one of my buddy's wives invited a friend who was on the Cape. We're all out of tomatoes eating dinner and stuff, and I don't know how the conversation started with politics. It always ends up there somehow because I'm a legislator. But anyways, when she found out I was Trump's National Veterans Chair, she started swearing at me, everything, got up and left, walked out of the restaurant. I said, what is that woman's problem? I don't understand it. I mean, we're all being nice, all friends. We all grew up. She was a guest of my buddy's wife's, because they grew up together. But
Now
I
they
mean,
don't
that's how
talk to
bad
each
it
other.
was.
Isn't
They
that sad?
probably don't. I don't know. But I never bring it up again. But I can't believe it. I mean, I'm treating everyone nice. I may say things that people don't like,
That's okay.
but that's fine. But I don't attack them personally.
That's
You know
like
what I
my
mean?
son and I will spend hours talking. Some things I agree with, some things
Right.
we don't. Boy, I'll tell you, he is a Trump man, word for
Yeah.
word. I taught him right now. He makes his own decisions. I know. That's the thing. Back when I was growing up, I had a foster father who was a state rep. He, I got to say, he kept me out of prison because I was Peck's bad boy, believe me. But I paid for it in more ways than one sexually. But that's okay, But he taught me a lot of the different things. Then I said, you know what? My brother, who was my hero, was a Democrat. As you know, I told you about it. And so I said, well, my brother's a Democrat, so I joined the Democratic Party. He goes, wait a minute, this is not who I am. So then I am actually an independent, more leaning towards the Republican.
Yeah.
Because if I don't like what the Republicans doing, I'm going to speak out loud. That's why I like him. God bless America and their freedom of speech.
You ain't kidding. It's a
You don't
beautiful
mind
country.
if I keep repeating it because I
Right.
believe it.
Yeah, I'm the former chair of what we call the House Republican Alliance.
Yeah.
And what it is, this is the New Hampshire Constitution, this is the U.S. Constitution. This is what we, make our decisions on legislation. Is it constitutional? Is it go against the platform? Is it against the Constitution? Is it against the platform? These are decisions we make. And I was fortunate to be elected as the chair of that, tri-chair as that organization a few years ago.
What made you decide to become a state legislator? You want to tell me?
Well,
right back.
If you remember the eminent domain case in Londonderry back in 2004, where the state was stealing acres of land of people in the wetlands on the Musquash, well, 5 acres of that land was mine.
Ooh. Really?
They woke up a sleeping giant because I bought, when I retired from the Marine Corps, and then while I was working in Delaware, when I moved here, I bought the 7 acres of land so I can put a couple of houses for my kids and things like that. So they can all live, we could all family together. Well, the state stole 5 acres of my land and gave me $10,000 and told me to be happy. 4 acres of it was wetland. An acre was highland that knocked out 2 lots on each side of my house. Okay, and I own a corner lot there in Londonderry. So what happened is I went to the Land and Tax Appeals Board. I lost. So I said, well, if I can't beat you on the outside, I'll beat you on the inside. So I went and testified on that Constitution Amendment years ago about the eminent domain, where you can't take people's property and turn it over to private. Wrong. Okay, and that became a Constitution Amendment article in New Hampshire. And under the Northern Pass, I fought them to make sure you're not eminent domain because of public utilities, but you're going to pay them. You're going to pay them fair value. They gave me $10,000. If I had a lawyer and fought it at the Supreme Court, it probably cost me about $20,000.
Yeah.
I would have got nothing if I lost. I wasn't willing to take a chance, especially when I had a kid having to go on to college, in Maine, and I needed money to put down for his college. So I said, okay, well, I just had to take the $1,000 and call it a loss. I didn't have deep pockets.
I agree with you. I can't see how the government come in and says, hey, I want your house. I'm going to give you so much, and take it or like it.
That's right.
I don't think they have the rights to do it.
Of why I bought that property.
I don't think it's I don't know. I just don't believe in that. They can just come in and say, I want your house. You'd say, I know one couple that was in there over 60 years, and all went to government and said, I want your house. Just like that. Because they were leaving it for the next generation.
Right. That's a shame there. But see, a little guy like myself, retired Marine, and worked all my life. And, what can you do? All you can do is, you can't be violent and do destructive things because it'll make it worse on you and your family. My kids were still young at the time. So I decided, like I said, I'll fight you on the inside. And that's what happened.
That's the way to do it.
And I've been there ever since, there fighting for the working people. The Democrats in New Hampshire, I can tell you right now, I mean, when you put taxes on oil, fuel oil, who you hurting?
Yeah.
When you put taxes on cigarettes, who you hurting? It sounds good. You want people to stop, but they're not going to stop. You got people on welfare. Do I buy food or do I buy cigarettes? You pay, more money. They're not quitting. When you put $30 tax on registration, of cars, who's that hurt?
Yeah.
The working
Probably
people.
A little bit more than that.
So this is why I keep trying to tell people, if you're supporting the Democrats, wake up and smell the coffee, because I was like you, and they're not supporting you because if you got deep pockets, you don't care if you raise the taxes. You don't care if the property taxes go up. But if you're a working person living from paycheck to paycheck, you got problems. You can't deal with it. So what they're doing is, if you own a property and the taxes keep going up, they're forcing you out of your home into a smaller place.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
It's a cleansing, thing to get somebody in with deep pockets. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's why I could never be a Democrat again.
Yeah, like I said, my whole family was.
Right, my whole family was too, and they still are.
My sister's not.
Yeah,
my
sister's
family
still is.
I think she's either an independent or Republican.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my sister's unbelievable. We don't even talk politics.
Like I said, everybody has their own party to go to.
We get together. My sisters, we're all close Italian family. I have 4 sisters, 3 brothers. We all get together holidays. We have it at my house. I have a big living room, dining room and everything. And so, I have people, like 20-something people around the table.
That's nice.
But we're very close. But we don't talk politics. because some of my sisters come in from Massachusetts. They're so focused on just keep paying taxes, they don't know any better.
Yeah.
They don't know any better. They think it's great. They don't mind, their quality of life to being diminished, because the more taxes you take out of people's money, the more you diminish somebody's quality of life. And they say, well, let's go after the rich people. Well, the rich people invested their hard-earned money to get where they are. I wish I could have been smart like them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To get where I am. But a lot of those rich people donate money back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To the communities and other stuff
That's
there.
true.
And they give back. But people are jealous because they were successful. And your personal accountability, that's the key in this life. If you're not, you don't want to kick in doors and make things happen and move up the line and go get educated or go to a technical school. That's your own fault.
Right. Yep.
Then you deserve to work in Walmart the rest of your life, or, McDonald's or this or that. And I'm not knocking those jobs.
No.
I'm just saying, if you don't want to do great for yourself and take advantage of the American dream, then that's your own fault.
But it's not always that easy.
If you have a disability, I understand it's not that easy.
That easy.
My father was a working slob. I love my father. He was great. We had 8 kids. He always told me, I want you to do better than I did.
But
Worked
money,
3 jobs,
money
my father.
talks. If you don't have the money and you're working from, say, week to week,
Right.
and you want to go to college, you can't afford that. I know
But
I
you
wanted
go
to, but
from
I
another
couldn't
country,
afford it.
Ken.
I could not afford to go to
No,
college.
you both met my wife, right?
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay. Now, my wife was going through a divorce with 4 kids. She was working in a bank. She went to college before she was going through a divorce and got a mind went blank. A computer science degree in GIS, database administrator, with 4 little kids. Went to school in between, and plus working at the bank, and got educated. That's the American dream. Too many Americans say, I can't.
Well,
I can is not in my vocabulary.
I've gone through a lot, and through the years, I've gone through a full-time job, and I had 4 part-time jobs to keep
Right.
my head above water,
There you
to pay
go.
my rent, get my oil, and
You were
everything
doing everything
else.
you can to
I had to do
provide a
it to
good
keep my
life.
head above water.
You were a single mother, right?
No,
No,
never
you're
been
not.
married.
Oh, okay.
No,
But
but
the thing-
I took care of my parents.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the thing is, I don't believe that there's such an excuse for homeless people. I really don't.
I have to disagree.
That's okay.
And the reason why I'm going to say that, I'm going to talk about Vietnam veterans and some that don't want to come out of the woods.
Yeah.
They're so disgusted with government, they don't want no help. Okay, I'll speak
Yeah.
on the veteran
Yeah,
side.
right.
Yeah.
So, on the other side, some of the mothers I seen that come from broken homes, they got nothing. And I feel bad that we're spending more money on illegal immigration instead of helping these mothers, getting them into apartments, get them off the streets with children. It's a shame. You know what I mean? But yet the Democrats are focused on illegals instead of taking care of the homeless. That's where I see.
Right. Well, my thing is there are a lot of people that are homeless because they don't want to live in a house.
Right.
And I also will tell you when I
A lot of
there's a
veterans
lot
like
of help out there if people want
Yes.
it. There's the Liberty House.
You're right.
I raise money for them, now they don't, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I truly believe that the veterans need the help.
Mm-hmm.
But I also believe that a lot of other homeless people need help too.
Right.
When
agree.
when I'm afraid of that, when they tore down that campsite down by the railroad track here,
Right.
they were happy
Why
there
did they do that anyway? What was
because
going on?
one lady made a complaint.
Mhm.
Okay. They were, first of all, I thought that was illegal because it didn't belong to the city of Manchester.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
It belonged to the railroad track people. Okay. These people, they didn't bother anybody. Mary, I almost got attacked 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
by a homeless person.
Can I ask you something, Norman?
Yeah.
You live in Manchester. Why do they have to leave their needles and everything all around, like the parks and
Because
everywhere
they don't
else?
care.
You know what I mean? See, this is making it worse on, people will help them more and more,
Yeah.
the homeless, if they wouldn't abuse the system and leave trash and all this garbage all around. So naturally, they say, not in my neighborhood, I don't want that.
Yeah. Well, the
know?
reason I think is because when they get high like that, they have no concept of where they're leaving
Right, yeah.
needles, okay? And they could care less. What bothers me is they can go to a drugstore and get clean needles,
Yeah.
okay?
Oh, true.
Mary's a diabetic. She had to pay a lot of money for her needles.
I take 6 needles a day. I'm supposed to, and I can't.
You know? And that's what I have a problem with.
Yeah.
people that are drug addicts, I'm an alcoholic. I've been sober now 23 years, and I also been homeless. But I never went on the street corners and stuff.
Right.
And I've always said, because I was lucky, I had my son who, he gave me a choice, either get it together or they won't talk to me anymore,
Right, yeah.
you know. My firm belief is, there are a lot of people that are afraid to seek help, you know, and all we can do is offer them a meal.
Right.
I refuse to give them cash. I'll buy them a coffee, I'll buy them a hot dog or whatever, but I refuse to give them
Do you
cash.
know here in New Hampshire we've gotten probably almost 300, maybe up, take a few, veterans off the streets, homeless veterans, through what they call the VASH program. At the VA, they have a program. Tracy Noonan works the VASH program. Don't ask me what the acronym stands for, but it deals with homeless veterans. And what they do is they get them into apartments.
Yeah.
They get them into drug programs. They get them in there into you have a psychologist or psychiatrist, working with
Yeah.
them, and the HUD backs them with a HUD certificate. Okay, we don't even have that for other, needy families here because there's a waiting list in New Hampshire for HUD certificates because there's only so many. So we're doing pretty good. They go around the state a few times a year counting the homeless veterans, and then other people too. They're trying to keep on the numbers. But the thing is, this is an awesome opportunity to help these veterans that really, especially a lot of them are Vietnam veterans, really that the government screwed over. That they came back and didn't, really treated bad, and they don't want nothing from the
The
government.
ones
I think it's funny they
from
call them
Vietnam.
baby killers.
Yeah, that's
What
right.
are they doing today?
I was in the barracks when they were coming home in '75. I went to boot camp,
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
They got it.
Yeah.
They got treated.
So
wrong.
I was there. I was treated bad, and I didn't even serve in Vietnam out in town,
I was
down
at
at Camp
Travis Air
Lejeune.
Force Base in Fairfield, California.
Mm-hmm.
My brother was a lieutenant colonel. He was a legal officer. Never let me forget I didn't get in the military, but that's okay. But I worked on a military base.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And nursing and training. Well, you cannot get a better nurse training job forever. You really.
Yeah.
And I can remember one of my buddies I went to high school with, he came back with both legs shot off. And I saw many, I can't even count them. I even though I was out in the military, but I saw a lot of body bags, And he looks at me and he says, Norm, what the hell did I go over there for? I said, so they could do this.
Yeah.
See, people have disrespected the flag ever since I can remember.
But it's a shame.
Yeah, wearing them on the butt of their pants, upside,
Only 1% Americans actually served in the military
Yeah.
that are prepared to die for the freedoms for others. And they don't understand what we go through and how we're prepared to die in other countries and do what we're going to do so the war doesn't come to our shores. They don't understand that, the kids today. Kids today, we've weakened them. We give trophies for doing, for just showing up. There's no competition no more in our country. It's a shame what's going on.
True.
I held my kids accountable, and that's why 5 out of 7 of them all educated. One's in the Marines. You know what I'm saying? I got one that has a business out in Florida, another one that does the TV show Live PD, educated. My daughter, master's degree. But I'm saying another one, selling real estate, bachelor's degree out of Massachusetts. What I'm saying is I held them accountable as a father. You know what I mean? And you did something wrong, you came and seen your dad.
Yes.
Those days are over.
Oh, yeah,
You know what I mean? Their
Yeah.
moms and dads want to be friends with their children instead of holding them accountable. They want to just give, and try to buy them. And you can't do that in today's
Yeah.
society.
I agree with
I
that.
made a comment one time that Laney lived next door. She's crying. She don't know how to pay her rent and all this other stuff. And I said, didn't you just buy a new video game for your kid?
Right?
She said, yeah. I said, how much did you pay for that?
Mm-hmm.
She says, $500. I said, and you're worried about paying your rent?
Right.
She says, I'll go to the city welfare and they'll give it to
Oh
me.
yeah. Or they have a cell phone and this and
Yeah.
that. One of them $1,000 cell phones
Yeah.
and things like that. I have my son Eddie, who's a genius. This kid, he's the one doing the Live PD. He got his communications degree. When he was in high school, he was a smart kid, but he got bored in school. His first report card when we moved back from Delaware was like C's and B's. I took everything out of his room. I took his TV, I took his Xbox, everything. And I put everything up in the attic.
Yeah.
I said, talk to me there when we're done on the next report card. He was miserable. But next
Yeah.
report cards were A's and B's. Because I used
Well,
to
you
say
should
A's
be.
and B's is Al Baldasaro is happy.
Right.
You know?
Well, when my foster father that I had, if I got anything below an A,
Mm-hmm.
and it was only my first
Yeah.
year, I could not go out.
But parents aren't doing this today.
Oh, well, no, because they're too busy, going out with their boyfriends and their
Yeah,
girlfriends.
and they're on the cell phones, and I go to the doctor's office with my wife and this and that, and I sit there and I just observe, and I see some mothers with their children and stuff, but I see the kids running around.
Little
There's
ones.
The mother,
Yeah.
even the fathers on the cell phone. You know what I mean?
And they're driving.
Yeah. Well, that too. Yeah. But it's a shame what's going on in our country.
I was at Applebee's one time. There was a waitress trying to get this young girl's order. And her mother said, oh, when she's done texting her friend, she'll give you the order. The waitress came back 3 times. I'm surprised I didn't get smacked.
Right, yeah.
Because I went right over and I said, this lady is trying to take her order. Well, we said I go, no. Now you're going to order. You're texting her over until you give her her order.
Yeah.
And she looks at me, mouth wide open. She gave her the order.
But the problem, these parents today are not holding them accountable. My mother used to tell all 8 of us, wait till your father comes home.
My mother used to be the one who had to.
Yeah.
my mother's the one who had to.
God help you.
You know, she had to do was look at us,
Yeah.
and we knew what she meant.
That's right. Yeah, that was my mother, my father. Yeah.
See,
Strict Italian.
believe it or not, I envy you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, seriously, because when I was born, my mom died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, and no, it's
Right,
okay.
no,
It's who I am today.
Right, yeah.
And the only time I ever saw my father was I needed a daily beating, whether I did it or not.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I'm grateful because it made me who I am today.
Right.
I brought myself up. So there are days when I think other people having their parents like you were very fortunate.
Right.
And for me, but it taught me not to do what my real father used to do to me, abandon me or whatever. And I have I'm not going to tell you my son and I, our relationship, it was rocky. In fact, one day he was so upset with me, he's going to put me in the middle of the institution one day.
Wow.
But we're upfront and we're honest with each other. Because he realizes that he can't control. When I was drinking all the time before I got sober, he could control me.
Wow.
And then I got sober. But you have, one of your children, and it looks like your son that has a TV station there. I'm going to tell you, he's got some kind of another grant coming to him. And he's going to be going to Switzerland.
Oh, I don't know. Right now he's in South Carolina. He's doing the live PD. You ever watch
I
it on
love that
Friday?
show.
Yeah, he's in South Carolina. The first season he was in Florida. Second season he was in El Paso, Texas. This season he's, like I said, Florida, South Carolina.
There's something about him going to Switzerland and I'm not going to tell you it's going to be right away.
Right.
But there's something about him winning some kind of an award so that he can go. He's there, like you said, he's so intelligent that people have a hard time communicating
Yeah,
with him.
because he writes, he does everything. He does the uploading, he does the communication.
I got to let you know, he is so proud of you.
Yeah.
And, you know what? I hate it when I hear, I can't wait for my kids to grow up.
Yeah, no, I wish they were all young again. I
Yeah.
cherish. When I go on vacations, my kids still want to go with me. You know what I
That's
mean? They
great.
go down the Cape with me.
That's good.
When I go to Florida, we'll meet down in Florida. I'll go over to my son's restaurant over in Juno Beach, and I have a good Italian meal and stuff. I see my granddaughters down there, and I have
And
two.
you did something right, didn't you?
Yeah, oh, I did. And I have a son who's in California at the Marine Corps base. His wife is pregnant. She's having a boy. So with 7 granddaughters, I have a step-grandson, but just had my wife's daughter. And then I have 2 great-grandkids,
I have one granddaughter. I got to tell you, this is another reason why she was bullied at McLaughlin Street School. We almost lost her twice to suicide. And then she broke up with this other guy and all that. But I got to tell you, from someone who we almost lost to suicide,
And that's a shame.
I am
Doing a
so
good
proud.
job.
Yeah.
I am so proud of her. She's going to school in Portsmouth, studying the veterinarian
Right.
tech.
Do you know, a bell just went off in my head when you talk about this here in kids in school today.
Yeah.
We passed legislation a few years ago to help kids like that, especially if they're low income, where there's grants where they can be taken out of that school and be put in to go to a private school like somebody with deep pockets.
That's
Do you know that there's so far over 400 kids have gone, maybe 500 have gone through this program? And what it is, business taxes, business can give the money, donate it to this program, to these grants, and they can do a write-off of 85% of what they donate.
Right.
Would you know the Democrats are trying to repeal that?
Yeah, I saw that.
And that's for low-income
Really?
children.
Yeah, yeah.
That's for kids that have been being bullied in certain schools. That kids can be taken out of a public school and go to a church, charter school or a private school or
I know
a
it is
religious
to be bullied
school.
because I was
You
bullied.
know what I'm saying? We put this program in. This is why I get so aggravated, and I was a Democrat. Why I get peed at this
Don't
here.
you think they want to keep it downtrodden?
These are low-income families that they deserve a chance. We're giving them a chance to grant, to taxpayers incentive programs, and they want to repeal it because they want them in the public school to be brainwashed. They want control. They want to be able to make little machines as they get older in the public school.
Where was it? One of the schools right here. It said, I can tell how this teacher was talking against America to the fourth and fifth graders.
That's a disgrace.
They should be fired.
Yeah, we're a free country. We should be saying the Pledge of
Oh yeah,
Allegiance
they
in
were
the
talking
morning.
about homosexuality. That should not. I don't
It shouldn't
care.
even be used in
No,
school.
no.
Marriage it shouldn't even be taught in school.
No.
Moms in school. Math, English, art, gym, all that good stuff there. That's what should be taught in the school.
My granddaughter went to Northwest before she went to graduate, and they had to bring in a banana. And I said, why? Because they showed them how to put a condom on a banana.
See, that's crazy.
I was. Oh.
I disagree. I hate that.
Now
They should never have that in for
you know
kids.
at home.
But we put in laws there that parents can opt out of those classes. Democrats didn't like that. You know what I mean? They think we should be teaching kids at a young age.
No, they shouldn't.
You
No.
know, Manchester just lost two great reps for kids. I don't know if you know Lisa Freeman
I heard it name.
and Victoria Sullivan Woljak. Well, I may be saying the last name wrong. Two great warriors for kids. Victoria put a bill in for children. It's called Play Base for kindergarten. Because kindergarten students are being put in the classroom and just sitting there all day long or whatever, whether it be half day or all day. My kids all had play time in kindergarten because they got energy.
Yep.
They got to be moving. If they're moving around in the classroom, the first thing they want to do is put them on Ritalin.
Yeah.
They wanted my son when he was young in California. I just come out of the field, gone for 60 days. My ex-wife says, we're waiting for a prescription of Ritalin for Eddie there. The doctors said it will slow him down. No, you're not giving my son Ritalin. He's an active kid. He's a boy, because he was always wrestling, doing things, and not sitting still in the class. I refused. I wouldn't let it happen.
I did that with my son. He had Ritalin.
Yeah.
And I kept watching him.
I wouldn't do it.
And I said, no more.
Right, that's good. But see, parents, single moms or dad families are saying, okay, and what they're doing is going to get an SSI on their children. But they don't realize it when they get older. You can't join the military if you've been on that stuff for up till 13, 14 years old.
And a lot of them want to get
Yeah,
into the military.
you can't join.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You really screwed that kid over by instead of working with an active kid. Because one size does not fit all in the public school, and that's what they want.
There's a family that I know that for I haven't seen in about 4 years, but every time that I know, she has like 8 kids, and they've all been considered disabled. And every time she has, her husband or boyfriend goes to prison.
Wow.
So you and I pick up that she
Yeah.
makes about $9,000 a month off of Social Security disability,
Yeah, that's a shame.
and that's wrong.
Yeah.
Because it's people like, if God forbid, something happened to you, you need to have it.
Right.
Well, you have a military because you earned it.
Right.
It wasn't given to you. Well, like Mary, she worked hard all her
I'm
life.
fighting
You
for
know what
mine.
I'm saying? And they keep giving these children who have never worked, or these people from other countries who never worked in their life, we're going to put them on Social Security disability, we're going to give them this, we're
Not
going
right.
to give them that.
Not
And I
right.
can't see why they're able to work. Why put them on Social Security?
Yeah. Do you know?
The people that where I live, they're from India, through Bhutan into India. And they are an amazing bunch of people. I
Yeah.
don't like the young kids, but I
Right.
like that. Every single one of them work.
Mhm.
They had 9 months to get a job, get off the welfare and work. Some of them, God bless them, they're all American citizens.
Right, and they want to come to a free country, and they understand what it is to live in a controlled environment. And do you know we were just talking about the school thing there on the kid. the Medicaid expansion, we put in a program a while ago, a work program in the Medicaid expansion, that you have to work 20 hours. Okay, and the waiver was put into Washington, D.C. on this. Now, these are people getting free insurance. Why can't you work 20? Now, if you're disabled, if you're a mother with real young children, I understand. You know what I mean? We should be given a hand up, not a handout for the rest of their life.
Right.
So now the Democrats is legislation in to repeal the work requirement. That makes no sense. Why? We're enabling a country to sit home and just collect the paycheck. The money runs out eventually.
When I got hurt in Laconia, my ex-wife, I had 5 stepchildren before my own son was born. She went to the city welfare. They would help her, but she had to work, which I think they should do. Yeah. She had to work in the office for like 3 days, 3 hours a day to work it off. And I am all in favor if the city or the state is going to help you, like the city, for instance, then you know what? I don't buy that. Oh, well, he can't work because he's homeless. But you know what? He may be homeless, but you know what? He should still go rake a cemetery yard, mow a lawn,
answer phones.
Yeah. They used to. But the ARC got into
my father, the same thing, just like you. My father had a heart attack when we were kids. Okay, he was out of work for almost 2 years. We went on welfare. Back then, you went and got blocks of cheese and butter and everything.
Yeah.
I was the slim one in my family, the skinny guy. So I used to have to go over and pick up the boxes of stuff there to bring home. It was embarrassing. My father hated it. He couldn't wait to get back to work. My father was a workaholic. We had a family at Cape, home on the Cape and everything. Small house. But my father would drop us off and go back to work. Because my mother never drove. But it was rough for almost 2 years. We were doing that. And then my father gave back. Once he got back to work, making money again, he gave back to the community.
My real dad, he would go somewhere. I don't know where he went and got the food. Then I went to see him for days and weeks at a time. I was like 9 or 10 years old. But you know what? I knew how to survive. The worst tasting oatmeal in my life. Yeah. The worst tasting dried milk. And cheese was awesome.
Yeah.
But you know what?
The powdered eggs.
Oh my God, yes.
I like using powdered eggs.
I like that.
But you know what? So you grew up not an easy street.
Yeah.
You grew up learning to appreciate what you have.
That's right. But I don't want anyone to take it from me.
No, I don't
distribute my hard-earned money that I worked for to get where I'm at.
Yeah.
And whatever happened to the megabucks that was supposed to go to education?
That money's still, a certain percentage is still going. Of course, they take out the administrative costs.
Of course.
Per the New Hampshire Constitution, all lottery money goes towards education. I think we come up, I don't know if it's $300 and something million a year we get from that goes towards the adequacy education. Now, we have what you call a statewide education property tax that people pay. If you notice, that has not gone up for 9 years. We kept it there. Because when people keep saying they want the state to pay more money, the state's not paying enough. You know what the state is? Every property owner in the state.
Absolutely.
So that means as legislators, we have to raise your property tax. So it would be in the best interest that local control make that decision on what your schools need. Because many schools, the numbers are dropping, but yet the budgets are going up. Something's wrong with that picture. They're maintaining, they're going from classes of 20 kids and 25 down to 13, 14. That way they keep more teachers on the payroll. That's not right.
No.
I had 30 kids. I don't know how many you had when you were growing up. There was 30 kids in my classroom.
Well, I grew up in a real small town.
And we've done a great job.
25.
Yep.
And I teach you, let me tell you, you either listen.
Oh, you ain't kidding.
On a wastebasket.
Remember the old paddle?
Oh, yeah. I had to sit on a wastebasket for a whole Parents' Week. So I thought I always thought with myself like this.
I got kept back in the 3rd grade.
Oh, yeah. And I had a teacher, if he threw chalk at you, he never missed.
That's right, yeah. But see, kids today, you do that, they want to take you to jail.
Yeah, but we learned, didn't
That's right. You were focused. And it was nothing trying to do family values. They were teaching you English, math, how to write, how to speak, how to, finance, numbers, how to use a calculator but still do it on paper or do it in your brain. Spelling. You know what I mean? You don't see that anymore.
I thought woodworking.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked woodworking.
Did you? Oh my God! I started out with a bookcase this high.
yeah.
By the time I got done with it, was that low.
Yeah.
My mother, my foster mother, if mothers were like my foster mother,
Yeah.
I had a seat.
Yeah.
Okay, I made a bookcase. She loved it. I tried to. Then I made a sign with her name on it.
Right.
Well, oh, it was awesome.
You know, years ago, uncles, aunts all got involved with the family, with the kids.
Yeah.
They were all involved.
That's true.
You know what I mean? If there was a father
My
out of the
uncle did.
picture, like me, my ex-wife lived in Cambridge, Mass. I was in the Marines somewhere, whether I'd be overseas or somewhere else, or, remarried and everything. My brother, my father, everyone would stop by and see how the kids were doing to make sure you did if they had any needs. We took care of our own. You don't see that today.
No.
No.
You don't at all.
No more Sunday dinners.
Right. Well, we still do in my family.
Right, you know what I'm saying.
Right. I know what you're
You know,
saying. You're right.
When my family found out I was gay, they disowned me.
See, that's not right.
And that's it. But back in
Yeah,
this,
right. I understand.
you know.
Back. Are they? You're still back together? Or are they?
No.
No.
and they all passed away.
Oh, that's a shame.
I'm talking with my nephews
Right.
though, so that's a cool thing. And you know what? I really don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy the way my life is. We
Yeah.
talk about someday we'll all meet each other, but
Right.
you know, I have my son, and I have my daughter-in-law.
Mhm.
And if daughters are like my daughter-in-law, I got a saint.
Yeah.
And then I have my granddaughter. Then I got my dogs. Then I got troublemaker over here. You know, Mary, the serious violent.
You know,
They call me the Big Mouth.
Norm, I got a friend of mine that was thinking about running for office, right?
Yeah.
And he called me up for my endorsement. I'm not going to mention his name here, but he ended up not running. But he says to me in the conversation, he said, "Al, you do know I'm gay, right?" I said, "Okay, so what's the problem? Does that mean I can't endorse you? What's the problem? You're calling me to support you. I said I support you. So why do I need to know whether you're gay or not?"
Isn't that sad?
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that was my conversation with
Yeah.
him. And he's a personal friend. I had an idea, but I didn't care. That was his own business.
One of my so-called
You know?
best friends that I grew up with,
Mhm.
because I didn't tell him directly that I was gay,
Mm-hmm.
and he wouldn't talk to me
Yeah.
after that. Well, you know, I never really accepted it until like 25 years ago. I could tell you, it's like being an alcoholic. I could tell you who I am. I could tell you all, but inside I had a hard. Now I love who I am.
Mhm.
I like being
Right.
sober. I wish I'd hurry up and like Hal and pass the marijuana bill so I could smoke and be happy
Yeah.
about it.
Well, I don't know if I want you happy, so maybe we'll wait. We'll postpone a little bit. I mean, I support the legalization, but I did some of the stuff that's coming along with it I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like it being grown. I'm not too sure about growing in homes because then become more
Yeah.
dealers.
Because
You
I
know what I mean?
actually
So
would
I-
like
I
to
really
keep-
have to
no,
look
I
at
don't
the bill
agree
that
with
comes
it being
up.
grown into homes.
Yeah. I think it should be a controlled area sold just like our beer and alcohol. And it
Well, we
should
can
be
buy.
taxed.
They can buy legal medical marijuana.
Right, you can, right. But it should be, it should be taxed
Under
just like
control.
our cigarettes.
Yeah.
and
Oh, I
everything else.
absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
Right.
You know,
And I think
That's
we
like-
lost the battle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have kids today are followers. They're getting in trouble by smoking a little marijuana. Then they, when they go to put in for the FISA, for their college loan,
Yeah.
one of the first question, have you ever been arrested for drugs? You have to say yes. You don't get the money. So now that kid is awarded a state for the rest of their life. You know, if
see,
you
that's
don't,
what
Yeah.
a lot of people. I know a
You
very
don't have
good
the-
friend of mine.
if you don't have deep pockets.
Yeah, he had a joint. He got sentenced to 2 years in prison for having a joint in his car.
Yeah.
He cannot go to college, not unless he.
He can't get the loans.
No, he has to go and get all his records sponged.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Another guy that I know, he was considered a kingpin on the cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
He was my landlord, actually. He was supposed to be sentenced to 10 years. He got out with, tell me no, money don't talk, you know what I mean? He got out in 3. He was supposed to be on probation or parole for another 3 years. He got out on that, too.
Wow.
You
Did you know that if you get a drug medical card, marijuana card,
Yeah.
do you know you lose your gun rights?
Really?
Really?
Do you know you cannot get a gun permit, go and buy a gun
That
because
must
you
be
have a
Gary's
medical?
fault.
Because the federal law, it's against the law. You cannot. There was a court case already on this here, and I'm sure Gary, when coming on, my good brother here,
Yeah.
can
Ladies
talk
and
about it a
gentlemen,
little more.
welcome Gary
Gary,
Hopper.
how are you?
Okay.
Wow,
Did you like my speech today?
that's very good,
Uh-huh.
very good.
Yeah, but you cannot get a gun. You're not supposed to have a gun permit. So keep that in mind. A lot of people don't know that. You lose your gun rights.
So, yes, yeah, if you use medical marijuana and you do it legally by getting a permit,
Speak into Mike.
Hi, Mike. How you doing? So if you do it, if you do it legally and get a medical marijuana card, that's actually the only reason I voted for, or the main reason I voted for legalization of marijuana last time, because it seemed insane that somebody's going through getting cancer and possibly dying. They use medical marijuana to help control the appetite and the pain and everything else, and now you take away their right to defend themselves.
Isn't that ridiculous?
At the weakest point in their life, you're gonna tell them, "Oh no, you can't defend yourself."
A lot of people don't know that. If you get caught lying on the question, and that medical card's in the system,
They'll take it out.
now there's I don't know if it's a felony or how that works. You know, when you go get a gun, if you lie on the application,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
then they find out that you have a medical marijuana card, you know, that's I don't. Is it a felony? Is it a?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right there. I
Oh,
would
absolutely.
think
If you
it's a
lie on
felony.
that, it's a felony. If you lie on the,
On the application.
I
the
have a
application.
friend of mine who died of cancer. He went from, and this is because of, very good, lack of insurance.
right.
He had cancer. He went into CNC. They kept giving him Tylenol for, when codeine in it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So finally, I went in with a briefcase. I went in with a dead cell phone. And I said to him, "You're going to give him the care he deserves." And that's when we found out that he had marijuana, lung, COPD, cancer going through his whole body.
Wow.
And the only thing that could keep him happy and keep him without being paid besides the morphine, because he didn't want the morphine, when we gave it to was the marijuana. And one day I had just given it him. I'm smoking my house. All of a sudden we hear that knock on the door I said, "Oh no, we're going to be busted." And I was one of the people from hospice. And she said, "Don't worry about it. Plus it's confidential." And you know what? She encouraged it.
Yeah.
The Merrimack hospice people are fantastic people. But marijuana can be used for many things.
Right. I never knew this.
Yeah.
I've been a legislator 12 years. Gary's been up there with me. The first medical
How'd you two
marijuana
put up
bill
with each other?
that came, the first medical marijuana that came, I voted against it. And I've never touched marijuana. Okay, never ever have I smoked
Me
it.
neither. I can swear on the Bible.
I was an athlete. I played hockey, ice hockey, and
You would
sports.
get paranoid.
Growing up.
Yeah.
So what happened was, the governor vetoed it. So we're gonna have a veto session. Before that, I'm at Dana-Farber because they just reopened it in Londonderry,
Yeah.
and I'm talking to some
Great
off the
outfit.
record nurses, and some of the things they told me about glaucoma,
Glaucoma. Yeah.
and other issues there with the chemo and stuff there. People don't eat, they lose their weight, and this stuff helps them. And then I thought, who the hell am I? Who am I to tell these people you can't? So I voted to abstain, to override the governor's veto.
The glaucoma. I actually did a speech on the House floor a bunch of years ago because I have glaucoma. And I got up on the House floor. Picture this: it's 400 people sitting in front of me, and I said that I want to speak to specifically glaucoma, as far as medical marijuana, and I can tell you, absolutely, that the medication my doctor can provide for me now is much better to treat the pressure associated with glaucoma than marijuana is. I says, however, the advantage to using marijuana to treat glaucoma is if you do go blind, you won't care. So Al, the average age, right? No, so the average age
He's
up there is like
unbelievable.
60 plus or something like that,
See,
right?
that's it. All these
Wait,
people
no.
that condemn
So it was just great because half of them didn't get the joke,
Yeah.
and the other half were laughing.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. I've been smoking marijuana since I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
I also believe that by smoking marijuana, I am avoiding cancer. But this is my belief.
Right, yeah.
Because every one of my family members have all
Yeah.
died of cancer and all this. And I don't do it every day. And anybody that does it every day is a waste to begin with. Number two, they can be psychologically addicted to it. They can't be physically, but they can be psychologically. And I know a lot of people, if Mary smokes a joint, she'd get paranoid.
It was around me back then.
But I mean, but
it's
you
still
didn't do it,
around
right?
me. But I don't want to. I value my license.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't blame
Drive.
you. One day I was in high school. I had a '65 Cadillac convertible. I was a senior. A friend of mine asked me to drive him to Harvard Square. Okay. While he was in my car, he lights up a marijuana stick. I said, "What in the hell are you doing?" I said, "Get that out of my car." My car was all filled with smoke. I had to pull over, put all my windows down. I said, "Hey, you walk to Harvard Square, get out." But I couldn't. The smell was nauseating.
Yeah.
I mean, I just couldn't deal with it. That was my first experience. You know,
But
he just
no one
lit it.
should.
Then he says, "Oh, you mind if I light it?" He's already lit it.
No one should never do that without the permission.
Right.
That's like
But
drinking
the
alcohol.
smell,
in
I
your car.
just was
Yeah.
nauseating, and I just, I never cared for it.
I don't allow smoking at all in my.
I had a
with my
lady
lawn.
come in. I was doing a reading on. You're gonna laugh. She come in. She says, "You better hide that stuff." I go, "What stuff?" She said, "That there." I said, "You're a drug enforcement agent." She goes, "Well, yeah." I said, "You don't know the difference between sage and marijuana? Then maybe you better go back to school."
Yeah.
You know. And I thought it was pretty, but
But you were fibbing.
huh?
Yeah.
You were fibbing. Yeah.
No, it was real. It was sage.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh.
In fact, we had it burning. So
Right.
when after she left.
I'm surprised nobody calls into the show. What's
Sometimes,
going on?
but
Yeah.
yes, we do.
I was hoping somebody would
Me
call
too.
and and have some.
I got
things to
a nice
say there.
picture of Al Baldasaro on my
Uh-oh.
Facebook
Yeah.
page. Yeah.
So,
But
so
it's like
did I
a
motivate
lot of
everyone
people
when I
are
spoke,
afraid to
or did I
call
tell
in.
the
Yeah,
truth?
you do. You always
Yeah.
do.
You know.
And if you do have and you want to call, you ask a question, and if you don't ask a question, shame on you.
Right, yeah.
I have a huge audience. I have a huge following. But the one thing that, like, it was just Mary and I got like 3 calls last week.
Maybe they like me. They might sometimes. The Democrats at the State House are intimidated by me, so that might be happening. Maybe some people in Manchester don't.
It's funny. I
I'm
did by the
intimidated.
Democrat. The
I
only
love it.
Democrats that comes on my show is Tim Baines.
Yeah,
I
oh,
like him. I
okay,
have a lot of
yeah.
respect for
Mhm.
him.
Right. I have a respect. I got a lot of Democrat friends. When I got
Yeah.
married, my wife and I, we had some. Gary was the master of a ceremony. We had a couple of few Democrat friends that my wife and I went. And some of the other Democrats can't believe that we're good friends.
Why not?
I don't understand it. Yeah, I don't, because you're a Democrat, I'm a Republican. That has nothing to do. That don't mean we can't be your
That's
friends.
right.
That's
You may-
why Mary and I have a lot of different opinions on when it comes
Yeah.
to political views.
I think Mary's a closet Republican.
I do too.
I think so.
Yeah.
I can't prove it. I don't know where that
Yeah.
happened.
Well, I can say when Bush ran, I'm quite sure I voted for him.
Yeah.
And I do. I mean, I don't care. I liked the Bushes.
Mhm.
I really did. I
Yeah.
enjoyed the Bushes.
Hey,
No,
can,
yeah.
can I share something with you guys? I
Sure.
heard a meeting this. What the heck? I don't know how to do
Tick, tick,
this.
tick, tick.
Oh, okay. So I heard this at a meeting. It's about. I know it's not the subject, but it's
No,
about.
that's fine.
It's about addiction.
Yeah.
All right. This young woman said it, and she's newly recovering, and I just thought it was so powerful. It really puts you inside the head of an addict. She said, "I could not forgive those who had wronged me. I could not forgive God who abandoned me. I could never forgive what I had done to me. But regardless of how much harm it had done to me, I would always forgive the bottle, welcome it back as it was killing me." It's like the only thing that an addict can forgive is the alcohol, the drug itself, and it always welcomes it back with open arms.
Well, I did that many times. Till
Yeah.
I finally hit the rock bottom.
Yeah.
What,
But isn't that powerful,
what
though?
made you decide that this was it? Enough.
My son.
Your son? Yeah,
He
you
gave
said
me
that
an
earlier.
Yeah,
Right.
he gave me an ultimatum.
Mhm.
Either I continue drinking and being an asshole,
Mhm. Right.
or I get sober. And you know what? I went to one of the best programs here in Manchester. It was an outpatient program, and it was through the mental health. And what I liked about them was they didn't hold my hand, they didn't baby me.
Right.
They went right to the, and they were right up front with us. I can remember one man that said to me, "There's no such thing as a slip." I think, other people agree. Only women wear slips. I said, "Well, I lost mine." I was kidding. He wasn't, And I believe that, you know what, if we decide when going out to drink, we already have made up our minds and we're going to do it.
Right.
I love being sober today. And there are days when I miss the chill and the whiskey, you know, and stuff, but I know I can't.
Right.
And I've worked too hard to be where I'm
Right.
at.
You know, growing up in the families there, like my family, there was 8 of us, my father, and my mother. My father used to say, if you want to have a beer or some wine, you have it in the yard. And we would have it, because we had a pool in the yard, we had a garage, it was like a big Italian kitchen, where the family would all meet and go swim in an above-ground pool. But anyways, when I turned 18 was the drinking age, I didn't have a taste. There was no excitement, because my father broke that when we were young. So 8, my brothers and sisters, none of us are drinkers. You know what I mean? We might have a glass of wine or this here, every once in a while dinner, but we're not drinkers.
No.
Never was. I don't know if that was because the old family tradition.
The college was gone.
No, well,
You know, I don't know if that had something to do with it. But all 8 of us are not drinkers.
Yeah, a lot of that, though, Al, is genetic, and there's other variables. But I will tell you that, like an alcoholic, the first time they start drinking, all the worries. Most people in addiction, okay, are basically like a coiled spring, okay, like tensed up all the time, constantly tensed up. The first time they drink or drug, it releases.
But how do they get there?
We find it, and we find the way that it relaxes
It's
us.
genetic. It's often post-traumatic, like something happened in their childhood, sex abuse. Guys from the service will go through the service and see so much stuff. That's why you see so many of these guys out on the streets. Because they come out, and the only way to deal with that tension, that stress, is the bottle. But eventually the bottle turns on you, and even that doesn't relieve the stress, but you can't not drink at that point.
Well, I've seen some of my fellow Marines have gone through some stuff in my time, my 22 years, and I've sat and listened to the stories and things like that. You know, I've gone through worse stuff than I did. Other things I seen when I went into Kuwait. You know, while the war was going on, I flew into Kuwait International to run the airfield there. I won't get into it now, but you never forget.
No.
You know, I mean, most of the time you don't get, because you keep your mind occupied during the day. It's at nighttime when you see or smell or do, you know, certain things, when you break out into sweats and, you know, legs and hands tighten up and other stuff there. Not that I know anything about it, I heard.
Yeah.
I mean, so, but I mean, things happen at the nighttime, but most people learn to deal with it. Very few, some are stronger than others.
You know what's really
Some need other veterans' peer pressure to be part of it instead of walking away as a friend, be there to help.
right.
And we don't have that a lot.
Well, I know that one of the variables, if a guy is in combat, and then he gets out of the service and just goes and lives in private life and stays by himself, the repercussions from that combat are horrible.
Yeah, that's worse.
If somebody stays in the service, and I think it's basically because they can continue to talk to people that have been there, because a lot of times when a guy's in the service and some of the stuff he sees, A, nobody else wants to hear it, and B, he might have done things that he still feels guilty about doing. A lot of guys feel super guilty just because they lived through it. My dad felt wicked guilty about living through Chosin
And
Reservoir.
other people survived.
Yeah.
You know, there's a silent killer right now that most people don't realize what's going on in the country. And I'll use first responders.
Yes.
Police, suicide, firemen. I didn't know this was going on until I sat on this commission. And I'm looking at it. A lot of these guys are going through the same thing. You know, with people going into combat zone, going into fire, going into save somebody, or seeing burned bodies in there. And I didn't know this. And the state troopers have a program where they deal with veterans and police, where they get them away from the work because peer pressure, the supervisors find out. Like in the military, they blackball you if you got PTSD, TBI. So they push you out because nobody wants somebody beside them in a combat zone that could go off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they try to weed you out of the military. And that was my concern with the police. The commission I sat on, I didn't know we were having as many suicides around the country with police. So we need to take a look at what's going on and make damn well sure that our firefighters and the police are being taken care of.
I know a friend that he was in, I think, almost 10 years in the service. He did his tour 4 times over there. And he hurt his knee before, and it was okay. He did his tour twice, and then he come back. So now they said his knee gets in his way, and they gave him a discharge.
Yeah.
4 times he's been over Iraq fighting.
Do you see, which I thought warmed my heart? There's a lieutenant here in the Manchester Fire Department. And he met this little boy. And
Oh,
the boy
I love
looked-
that
Did
story.
you see
Yes,
that?
I
He
love that
actually
story.
We have in Manchester, as far as I'm concerned, and I can't ever say it enough, we have one of the best, if not the best, fire department in Manchester.
Yeah.
When
I'm from Manchester. You can say that. We say the same thing in London.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
But the reason why I
Wait,
see
you're
what
on
he
your
gets.
Londonderry? You say how great the Manchester Fire Department
No.
is?
That's all right.
Yeah, see, he switched my words around. Because Londonderry, is a great organization.
Yeah, I think they all are.
Yeah,
And God
they
bless
all
each
are.
and one of them.
But it's a lot.
But
more I
it's
can-
it's a secret thing that's out there that's quiet
Yeah.
on the suicides that we need to really
Yeah.
take a look at.
When I was growing up, I grew up in Springfield, New Hampshire. I don't know. You know where
I
in
know
London,
that
New
is.
Hampshire? Do
I
you?
used to drop off a brain there when I come back from Camp Lejeune.
Really?
Pick them up, drop them there off for the weekend, pick them up on my way back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I lived right near the girls' college, and we used to go raid the college store before I realized I was gay. Oh, yeah. I always got in trouble,
No,
But
not you.
one thing about it is the people helped each other in that small town. We had a volunteer fire department. They didn't really know how to fight a fire, but they'd sit around and, have a beer or two and they'd go out and try. But one thing about that Springfield, New Hampshire, even though I never fit in there, and I vowed I'd never go back when I left it, I haven't, is when I was growing up, they were community orientated, like this. Thank you. And this woman went 14 years old, went and got a band together, helped everybody. We all got together and helped raise money for this lady's house that was burned down.
That's awesome.
And they don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm trying, but they don't.
Gary don't help me anymore. He used to.
No. No.
Well,
What do you-
I'll take you out. I'll think about getting you. I get a free meal when I go out to breakfast.
Yeah. I don't.
I do.
Yeah, no.
I have
yeah.
to pay double usually.
And my wife's concerned about him too when he travels on his motorcycle. But he don't care.
Oh, I pray every day when he goes out west here. I really do.
Yeah.
Well, something must have helped because
You
it
know
was
what?
it was pretty sketchy.
But you're gonna do it again.
Oh,
See-
probably.
How did your the gun bills go today? Did you end up finishing or did you end up?
No, I bailed out. I went up there. You spoke the gun bill, House Bill 190. I get 190, right?
Yeah.
It was basically kind of they set it alludes to gun registration. It doesn't quite say it, but it alludes to it. And I think that's where they're heading with it and stuff. And so everybody got up and talked about the Second Amendment. Al got up, did a really great job talking about the Second Amendment and everything else. And what I got up and talked about was the first of all, I really do believe that's what they're headed. They want gun registration in New Hampshire, and this is an end run around to get it in. And I said, we just passed a constitutional amendment just a few months ago that said people have a right to privacy. Well, that doesn't. It should extend to gun owners too. We shouldn't have a registry with everybody's guns in it.
That's ridiculous.
And
I gotta let you
wait.
guys go. Al, it was such a great honor, and I want you to. I hope you'll come back out again.
Definitely.
Okay,
Gary, it's a pleasure.
You too. Anytime.
work on you.
I want.
And Gary, thanks for coming on. Gary's good. But I enjoyed because you know what I liked about you? You were up front. You had nothing to hide.
Oh, no, I'm telling
It's
like
like-
this.
You're like me.
You notice no notes, no nothing. I speak from the heart.
Yeah. I had a lady come in and she told me, this is what we're going to do. You're going to ask these questions, and this is how we're going to answer. I go, oh, may I see the paper, please? Somehow that paper questions just fell into the garbage. I don't want to show where I have to
Yeah, no,
rehearse
you got to
it.
be straightforward and tell like it is.
if you have to memorize your answers, it's probably
I would.
something wrong.
Oh, yeah. Well, once again, thank you. We'll get you
Well,
back
thank
on
you.
again.
Mhm.
And Gary, always, the door's always open if you're ever around. And folks, remember, every day out there, remember, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. And think about what it really means to
My
you.
daughter's birthday.
But it means beating up your wife or your husband.
Happy
But that
anniversary,
girl-
Dick.
Good,
Beverly. 64 years.
64 years
Tomorrow.
Oh, happy anniversary. And remember, we'll see you next week. And remember, every day, you are the winner.